Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this Chelsea show based around Graham Potter. The heat seems to be turning up more and more. Since the game, some fans have been waiting for the fact that they feel that he may be getting sacked. Others still think he won't be sacked due to the owner's reluctancy to allow him to go on the basis that they have backed him, have been backing him, and still are backing him. Well, lots have come out today, lots of articles to discuss. We're going to go to the Matt Law article. We're going to talk about Nizar Cancella's article. We're going to talk about pretty much Graham Potter, pretty much everything Graham Potter today. Because, in all fairness, we shouldn't really have to be talking about having to have this discussion so early about managers. But with the form that Chelsea Football Club are on at the moment, 2 wins in 15 games as well, not good enough. Not good enough for Chelsea. Fans putting the pressure on. Seems like Potter's going to be given more time as time ticks on as well. Lots to discuss. Smash a like, subscribe to the channels as well, please. A little bit of news in regards to me in the show because I won't be around for the next 2 weeks, which I'll share with you guys once we've dropped the intro. But get the likes up, subscribe to the channel as always. Please do that as always. We're going to open up the lines as always and allow you guys to come in later in the show once we've gone through everything. Lots and lots and lots to get into in regards to Graham Potter. Where do we stand? How do we feel about it all? Do we understand the owners? Do we not? Let's get into it. Let's cue the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this Chelsea talk show. And this show is built specifically around Graham Potter. The heat seems to be turning up. The games we're not receiving W's. We're not winning. We're on the back of a bad defeat against Southampton. We've been off of training, not only one day, which was yesterday, but also today. We find out today there's 2 days off. The last time 2 days were taken off for players in between busy periods, which we have, Thomas Tuchel got sacked. He wasn't at Chelsea. I had the feeling that something behind the scenes was going on. I had a feeling that maybe the owners were talking to Graham Potter and decisions were maybe having to be made due to the circumstances that we currently find ourselves in, which are not good enough. Fans turning against themselves at the stadium, arguing. Fans turning, arguing at the stadium with each other, shouting abuse at the fans, shouting abuse at the manager. The energy in and around the football club isn't where it should be. We are an elite club. We need to pull together, but it's very hard when we're not winning. It's very hard when we have no game plan. It's very hard when we don't have no strategies. All of these things are being made very hard for us to be pulled aside. Trust the process is what we were being told. But what we're seeing is not good enough. And these 2 days that these players have taken off, I know they're saying they were scheduled 2 days, but it don't make sense to me. Yeah, we were playing Saturday, and all right, we haven't got a midweek game, but we shouldn't be taking days off. We should not be taking days in the way that we currently find ourselves at the moment. And from what I've seen in the prior, this excludes the Dortmund game because that wasn't too bad. But from the Premier League games, specifically West Ham and now Southampton at home, these guys need to spend over the hours in training. They need to be staying late. Graham Potter needs to be staying late. They need to be getting on with it. They shouldn't be allowed to just have a couple of days off to relax and this, that, and the other. Yeah, I get it. The mental side of it's hard as well, and they're probably suffering along with all of this as well. But the only way that they're going to get through this is hard work in training. And relevant to whether Graham Potter's the right man for this job or not, the signal of putting out the fact that they're allowed to have 2 days off doesn't make sense to me. What is that? And a reward? Reward for losing? Like, come on. Like, honestly, these are little things that are not right. I'm sorry, not right. If we were winning 6 or 7 games in a row or 5 games and we was, doing all right, our progression was good and Potter was, they understand the roles of Potter and vice versa, and he gave him a day off, maybe we'd all sit here and be like, do you know what? Day or two, they deserve it. We're playing well, this, that, and the other. But we're not playing well. So why are we having 2 days off? I get maybe 1 day, like yesterday, but we're also being told that it's scheduled to be off today as well, and they're not training. And that don't make sense to me. Like I said, the last time that happened, Tuchel got sacked. Last time that happened, Tuchel got sacked. So there's a lot going on in our football club still, and it's not for the good things, you know. And we get that there's a transitional period. We get this is a transitional season. We get that we've done a lot in the space of such short space of time, 8 months to 10 months. We've had sanctions. The owner's only been in control since what, summer, just before summer. Like, there's a lot that's gone on in this football club. I get that, but at the same time, we can't keep not winning games. You know, the way Potter survives at Chelsea isn't that he just goes and wins every game. It's the fact that you win games, there's a style of play, there's an understanding, but on the way you're going to lose and draw. So it could be a case that we win WWW, but then we lose one and then draw two. We have a little bit of bad form, but then we go back to winning. That we can all accept. I mean, I'll talk for myself. I could accept that. I could accept if we were going in that sort of manner. But what manner we can't go in is 15 games, 2 wins. 2 wins out of 15. He's got as many losses, nearly as many losses against his record than he's won. He's won more, 8 or 9, and he's lost 8 or something, I read, and drawn 7. Like, these are things we can't ignore, and the pressure's going to mount. The pressure's going to mount specifically on the pitch, and he needs to problem solve. He needs to start problem solving. He can't keep making excuses up. You know, I revert from the fact that we talk about the thing with Graham Potter about the press conferences, because I'm more about what he does on the pitch. I want to see the credentials of what we should be getting in the long run, what he has about him. Is he a problem solver? Can he manage? Can he get the best out of players? Can he allow us to gain control of games again when we lose control? Can he do all these things? Can he show that he can do all that? Like Ten Hag's doing at Man United, for example. Can he do all that? I'm not seeing that. But then on top of all of this crap that we're seeing on the pitch, your excuse is that you had to rest A, B, C, and D, you know, and Southampton are a well-organised team. And like these things, like, they're just not going to help you. They're not going to help you, Graham Potter. We need to really step up. And if you're going to stay and you are the man and the owners are backing you, yeah, you've got to show us. You've got to show them. You've got to show us, and you've got to do it. Let's quickly go through the chat quickly. Say hello to everyone. Big up to Andreas as well. A lot of outers in the chat. Lee, big up to you. Sosa, nice to see you, Lee. God, who else we got here, man? CC, Leo, Sean, Shano. Sorry, I can't read them all because we've got lots to go through at the moment. Big up to Pez Lord as well. Anna, nice to see you. Jamie Barrett, nice to see you. Big up to you. Big up to Matthew as well. Ashraf is in the building. Jermaine, Daniel, nice to see every single one of you. There's nearly 300 of you guys here already in 7 minutes. Big up to every single one of you that are tuned in already. Big up. Apparently there's a protest. It's not going to do anything. I was at the last protest. And it, you know, this was on a game day as well, and it didn't really pay off. Big up to Vic, Kevin, Undertaker CFC, Shard, Daz. Bring back the special. Nah, not for me, mate. Not for me. Henrik, big up for you. Big up to Conf for it too as well. So Sack Potter, just a lot of Sack Potters. Matty's in the house as well. Matty's been quite subjective with it. Always felt that he's not good enough, and feels still that he's not good enough as well. Big up to you. Big up to Chelsea boy. Who else we've got a couch? Nah, they're mentally exhausted. They're mentally exhausted. Yeah, I get that to a degree, but it doesn't mean you take 2 days. I feel like Potter wants to get sacked and get paid, is what Sam's saying. I don't know, Sam. You know, I don't think that is the case, in my opinion. I mean, look, he wins both ways. If he gets sacked, he gets 60 million in his pocket. If he stays, he stays. That's the way it is. But I don't think he's looking at it like that. But don't get me wrong, he's signed a massive contract. And you can only, again, look at the owners for giving him that big contract. You didn't have to give him a 60 million over 5-year contract. He probably would have accepted a contract a lot less than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, anyway, we're going to get into the articles. There's a lot to get into. Big up to CPT, Turkcell, boy. Thank you, bro. See you in a bit. Trevor, big up to you. Big up to Ashraf. Charles, chats, man. Everyone's here, man. It's a busy show today. We've got nearly 350 people here as well. Sorry, I can't get through for every single one. Big up to Chris. I'm just trying to see if I've missed anyone. British Patriot, big up to you. Trevor, Hoodie. Big up to Chelsea, the Kings player. Man, there's just loads of you. Big up to you. Well done, is Bowley giving him such a ridiculous... Well, this is it, right? And this is where we're going to get into it, right? Because this is what we need to talk about. And this kind of thing isn't good enough. I think it's actually less than that. 31% win percentage at Brighton. I think ours is less. I think he's less when I looked. It was like 20-odd%. It's ain't crazy. Yeah, but it makes Tottenham a big game now. It makes it a huge game because, look, don't get me wrong, our form against Tottenham's not bad. And even the squad that we have on paper should beat them. But I just don't have any confidence in the game plan. I don't have any confidence in knowing that he's going to set us up correctly. I don't have any confidence that maybe when we lose control of the game, which is going to happen on Saturday or Sunday, whenever we're playing, that he's going to be able to problem solve, that he's going to be able to get us out of these situations. Like I keep stressing to you guys, my big worry is more on what I'm seeing on the pitch. Because apparently this is the guy that's going to be the future for us. Is going to take us to that next level with no real CV behind him. A lot of the unknown. You know, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it as we speak. And he needs to pull his finger out of his bumhole. I'll be honest with you. That's the best way I can explain it. He needs to, because at the moment you can't have fans turning against each other, man. You really can't. Right, let's get into things, right? Because we've got a lot to get into. We're going to talk about Potter and articles from Matt Law, Nizar Kinsella, others as well. There's Ormstein stuff. There's quite a lot to get through today. So let's just start getting into it. Right, before we get into Graham Potter, I want to quickly talk about the comments in and around Mason Mount, because it's still there. It's still up in the air from what we're being told. And in regards to Mason Mount, it's from David Ormstein himself on his Twitter page. Talks about extending Mason Mount's Chelsea career have been paused and put on hold. Negotiations between Chelsea and Mount over a new contract have not yet led to an agreement, with several offers made this summer rejected. So from where we stand, basically, we ain't doing anything with Mason Mount until the summer, and there is a good chance that it's either that he might not stay, because at the moment, whatever we've thrown at him, he's not interested in. He obviously sees himself as a more valuable player, but then these new owners are probably looking at him and going, well, yeah, you're probably valuable under Tuchel and under Roman, but since we've come through the door, we've not seen anything. I know it sounds stupid, but and whether people like it or not, I'm not saying that I don't hate Mason Mount. I really don't. I genuinely don't. But I'm just saying it to you as it is. I think this is where the owner's perspective is of where they are with this. I think they're looking at it and going, well, you're not really informed. You're not really, when you're getting opportunities, you're not really showing that you're valued at this from what we're seeing right now. You want X amount. We want to give you this. I don't think the owners want to lose him. I don't think the owners want him to go. But at the same time, he's got a compromise. But he's looking at Reece James and he's probably thinking, well, he's getting 250,000 a week. I want the same. And maybe they don't want to give him that. Maybe they want to give him 200k or 190 or 210. And that's where it lays. And maybe the reason for allowing it to go to the summer is to see his own progression in the team. And at the moment, it's not good, but there's a lot of football still to be played. And maybe Mason Mount can find that form again at some point. Maybe Graham Potter can find a way of fitting him into this team. Because at the moment, I'll be honest with you, playing a 4-2-3-1, where is Mason Mount playing? I keep saying it. It's just the formation itself doesn't work. You've got Madueke and Mudryk, who are natural wingers that are going to play off the wings of the three. The only real place you can maybe stick him is a 10. But then João Felix is there. Kai Havertz is playing up front because we don't have a recognised striker. Or we do, but we just don't use him. So, again, another problem for Potter, because he's got to solve how to get the best out of all the players that he has on the team. He's not going to be able to do all that, unfortunately, but he's going to have to try and find something. You know, so we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see with Mason Mount, guys. I really don't know. I don't really know what to say, you know, other than from what we're being told summer. I don't think there's a point of doing a poll, to be honest, Shock. The poll is just going to be completely and utterly him out. Do you know what I mean? Guys, in the meantime, nearly 400 of you here, 15 minutes in. Can we get these likes up? How quickly can we get these likes to 100 on both channels? If you're not hit the thumb now. Hit the thumb now. Mount's time at Chelsea is over and his Potter leaves and another manager fits in. Well, it's you got to think of it like this, right? And it's not just Mount, but if we're talking specifically on Mount, because we're highlighting him, he was very good under Lampard. He was good under Tuchel, but he isn't under Graham Potter. And this is Mount. And I know there's not been any real players good under Potter. Maybe, I mean, you can't even say Thiago Silva because he's good under any manager. He's just world class. Reece James, yeah. You know, I don't know. Big up to Matty as well, and how says ain't got no. No, just don't do that. Mount needs to go, is what he feels as well. Yeah, so there we go. There's Mason Mount. There's the news on Mason Mount. Let's move on quickly before we get into the Graham Potter discussion, and then we're going to open up the lines later on in the show. What's happened here? Sorry, guys, I've got a bit of feedback. There we go. Sorted it. Uh, where is it? Chelsea Dodgers. So we get for Chelsea Dodgers? Yes. Fabrizio Romano's comments on a couple of players for the summer. Chelsea will be open to letting Conor Gallagher leave Chelsea in the summer if they get a big proposal, and talks with Mason Mount and N'Golo Kante will continue. Datro Fofana and Gabriel Slonina will be considered for loans via Fabrizio Romano's YouTube. Listen, this summer's going to be a big season, a big summer for outgoings. There's a lot of players that we're going to sell for value. There's going to be a lot of players going out on loan, but ultimately, I think there's going to be a lot of players out the door. Conor Gallagher is one for me that could definitely be one of them. But if Mason Mount does leave, do we lose Gallagher and Mount? I'm just saying if he does go, would we lose Conor Gallagher and Mount? Not too sure. Would it be either or? Potentially. Potentially, don't get me wrong. But, you know, we'll have to see. N'Golo Kante apparently still not solved as well, and I thought it was. This is why we got rid of Jorginho, was because the assumption was the extension was going to be given to N'Golo Kante. Datro Fofana could be going on loan because Broha will be back in, and I do think we're going to go for a striker in the summer. So it probably makes sense why Datro Fofana goes. And Slonina's just still too early doors. But then again, we need a number one goalie, because I keep saying it. Kepa and Mendy are not there. Well, I mean, Kepa's definitely not there for me as the number one. And Mendy, we thought might have been a number one, but has now flopped himself. So there's a lot that's going to happen in the summer. People think that we're done from spending just 600 million. That 600 million that we spent is just the beginning. And I don't think these owners want to continue spending as much as they are throughout this full period. I don't think they could. But what they're going to have to do now is smart spend. And they're going to have to do it based upon the outgoings in the summer. The outgoings are going to determine how much we can recoup in or bring in and do with what. Right? So I'm expecting the big outgoings. Don't get me wrong, I still think we're going to get another midfielder. I think we're still going to get a striker. And then it's going to be about improving the depth. Are we going to do that, or are we going to utilise the youth that we brought in? The Andre Santoses, the Casadays, the Amari Hutchinsons, the Carneys that are on the bench. Are we going to build this bench up with depth of youth and give them the opportunity? But the issue with that then is you have too many youthful players in there and they don't get the minutes. You've bought these players that are not playing time and playing because they're just ultimately missing and they're just training. And you want them to progress. So you have to have that balance. And you're going to have to loan some of them out, which means then we're going to have to buy to strengthen the depth of the fucking squad. So this is what I'm saying. I don't think we're anywhere near done. But is Graham Potter going to be here? Is the big question. Is Graham Potter still going to be at Chelsea? Right, over 500 people here. Big up to every single one of you guys that are here. Hit the like buttons. We're going into Graham Potter discussions now. We're going to talk about the articles from Matt Law today. We're going to talk about the articles from Nizar Kinsella today. And we've got some other bits and bobs going through it. And we're going to break it down, guys. We're going to talk about where we stand with it, what the situation is. We're also going to throw the owners into this as well and talk about their stance on it. But hit the likes. Over 400 people on Chelsea Fan TV, 93 likes. Come on, guys. That should be on 200 likes. If you've not hit the thumb and you're sitting there watching it, thank you for tuning in. But get them likes up. And GNA TV, over 100 people there as well. 40 likes. Come on. That means 50 of you guys that are watching have not hit the thumb. Hit the thumb and subscribe. Subscribe to both channels, please. If you can, that would be great. That would be great. Right. Let's get into it. Let me get some more. I need that before we start this. I need that. Big up to Bobby in the house as well. Big up to Ainsley, who's joining from Haiti. Hey, nice to see you, man. Haiti. I always say that wrong. Is it Haiti? Haiti? Big up to you, man. Big up to you. Let's do this. Let's do this, guys. Are you ready? Are you ready to rumble? Right. So, we, from what we understand, have been told over the last day or two that since the game, the squad has been given a break. We were told it was Sunday. They were scheduled off. And now we've been told it's Monday. Now, like I said at the beginning of the show, the last time that happened was Thomas Tuchel getting sacked. So this thing of, well, it's just a schedule thing, I don't think it's true. I think that there was a meeting held with Potter himself. I think there's discussions being held with him as well. Whether or not he stays or goes, another story. It looks more like, from what we're reading today, that he's probably going to be given a time frame of games, in my opinion, to turn not only just win games, but obviously get the fans on the side. And I think that might have been the move forward. You've got to think of it from the owner's perspective, right? They sack Potter now. They get rid of him. They look stupid, right? They keep him. They look stupid, right? So they're in a tough position. But as a fan base, if they made the decision to sack him early for the sake of the club, because maybe they feel, maybe they've just have to accept they've maybe got it wrong in terms of the profile of manager that we got in. I think, and then it's all going to depend when doing that on who comes in next, because I don't see us getting the manager that we want for the future. I think that will be done in the summer. I think you have to get an interim in, and the interim will come in, and then you'll utilize him. He will just, bed us to the end of the summer, and then we go again, right? But then you've got to find that person. Will it be a legend of the football club, or maybe a manager that's out of contract at the moment, but will be happy to run the club for a couple of months? Don't know any names, but I'm just throwing it out. You've got names like Poch and Luis Enrique. There's numbers of different elements, but the decision to get rid of Potter and do it now will make them look stupid. But at the same time, it's then upon who they bring in as the manager to then lead us forward. That's the next big step. And now we have a recruitment board in Vivell, Winstanley, all of these guys. I do think that they're playing a bigger role than what many people think. I think they are in the ears of the owners more. What you've got to remember with the Graham Potter appointment is that when we decided to get rid of Thomas Tuchel, we didn't have nothing. We had no board. We had no one there. It was just Tuchel, Egbali, and Potter and Bowley. Right? They made the decision to sack Tuchel on the spot. And they made the decision that they felt that Graham Potter, for whatever reasons and whatever was said in conversations, was the right man for the job. You can't knock Graham Potter for taking the job. You just can't. You don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like working for, being an employee for a company, yeah, and you're earning X amount, but then you're going to do the same job and get paid, I don't know, you're going to get they're going to give you an upgrade in your job. You're going to get paid double the money you got, but you're going to do the same job, but you're going to be more important in the role. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, it's like an upgrade to your job. You'll just get like another 50 grand there. You're going to take it. So you can't knock Potter from taking the job. He's going to take it. It's a big opportunity. It's a big chance. Whether or not it's too much of an early thing in terms of making the jump, again, it's not his fault. Maybe he felt that he was in a position to do that. But maybe the owners could just maybe sit back and look at themselves and go, do you know what, actually, have we got this wrong? Did we get this wrong? And maybe the fans from understanding the decision to sack, I know it doesn't make the second of Tuchel any better. I was a big Tuchel winner. I didn't want Tuchel to leave. I was one of them. I didn't want it. And when this happened, I wasn't happy with it. But at the same time, they chose to do this, and I said, fine. And it hasn't worked to this point. But if they do decide to get rid of Potter, from the fans' perspective looking in, yeah, we're going to say they look stupid. They don't know what they're doing to the degree. But maybe at that time that they made the decision, which was the wrong decision, we might just say, well, fair enough. It happened. Let's see who they bring in next. And then it will be then, who do they bring in next? Because let's be serious. They were new to everything. They made some big decisions in emptying the whole Chelsea infrastructure out to then just kick on with whatever their project, their philosophy is moving forward, these owners. And that is what they think, and that's what they want to do with it. We can't change that. That is the idea of how they're going to move forward with it. What they've got to do is make sure that they find the right pieces of the puzzle that helps them aim towards their philosophy, their idea. Maybe they felt Potter was that at that time, with no real guidance, no one in their ear. Todd Bowley and Egbali have made that decision. Bye, Tuchel. Potter, we think from this, and this. This is what we want to do. You're the guy. Potter's looked at it, gone, do you know what? Actually, I like the look of this. You're going to back me. You're going to give me a bit of time. I'll come in. And they've gone with it. And that's the decision they've made. But it might come to a point where they might have to look at it in a different manner. And by looking at it in a different manner and just taking it on the chin and saying, do you know what, we're going to look stupid in front of the fans. Let's just get rid of him. If they do, eventually, for the sake of the football club, yeah, we might have a dig at them about it. But then it's going to be about who they appoint next. And I think fans can move on with that. I think us as fans, can look at it and go, yeah, they did fuck up a bit, but do you know what? As much as we've been through and all the shit we've been through, it's what it is. Like, do you get what I mean? If they make the decision earlier, and that's the thing. The longer we continue losing, the longer we keep not taking W's and we keep taking D's and L's, the longer this is going to build up, the more this is going to get harder for the, on Potter, but not just on Potter, the owners, because the owners are going to then get dragged into all this shit because they're the ones that are allowing this. And then it's just going to get too dirty, messy, Chelsea will continue to back Potter the next 3 games, providing an opportunity to improve the relationship with the fans. So, look, what Simon Johnson's saying there, he thinks there is a time frame. And I said to you guys, it's either 2 ways. They don't have 2 days off for no fucking reason. It's either you're getting sacked or you're going to get a time frame. And the time frame being, by the looks of it, 3 games to try and get things turned around. We need to start seeing something. So there's an order there by the sounds of it, from the owners to go and get things to work. Go and sort it out now. The Athletic spoke to a small sample of 10 fans outside the bridge. None of them wanted Potter in charge. Everyone and that's the problem. As soon as you turn the stadium going fans, because they're there, right, with Potter, they're there. The owners are there each and every game, and they're seeing that. The quicker it's going to be for the owners to react, because they're going to be like, hang on, as much as we trust this guy, we like this guy, we're giving this guy, the fans ain't pulling aside to what we're trying to do here. We need to do something here. We can't just, So let's see. Let's see whether this time frame works. Let's see if Potter can turn it around. I'd be shocked if he continues after 3 games. And say we lose to Tottenham or we draw to Tottenham. We draw with Leeds, which I think would be bad anyway. And then we lose to Dortmund. I don't see how he stays. I'll be honest with you. I don't get how with that form, what he's got, you make it through. He would have to beat Tottenham, he'd have to beat Leeds, and he'd have to beat Dortmund. In my opinion, he would have to win all them 3 games to take the pressure off himself against the fans. And I'm not saying all the fans will change from this to this to this, but it will then make it easier for other fans who are maybe a little bit more willing to allow time to maybe look at it and go, do you know what? He's bounced back 3 in a row. This is what we were waiting for. Blimmin' hell, why has it took him so long? We're still in the Champions League. We've won our last 2 games. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of attitude. Guys, 650 of you here. Big up to every single one of you guys. We are going through some of the Potter stuff that we got, the articles, etc. I've got more to go through as well above. Let's have a look at Ben Jacobs' comment. He still thinks, obviously, that he will remain. Fully expect Potter to be in charge for the Spurs game. It's not thought the losses to Dortmund and Southampton will change. Chelsea's faith in Graham Potter ownership are still invested in him long term, despite the poor run of form. But that only goes so far, and I don't care what anyone says to me. These 2 days that have been taken off by the players is not just, have a couple of days off, guys. You deserve it. It looks fucking stupid. We shouldn't be taking days off. We're losing games. There's no game plan. There's no style. Why are we taking days off? You should be working overtime if that's the case. The only reason that that's been taken off is because they're having a chat with Potter. They're having discussions with him. And I think they've pulled him away from it, from the players, and trying to understand what he's going to do and how he's going to improve it and what's the next steps and how's he going to... I think that's the type of owners we got. I think they're going to be on him in that instance. And yeah, maybe it comes out looking like they're going to back him because they're giving him more time. But there's going to be a time frame, and it can only be a time frame. It doesn't mean we're backing him until the end of the season. He continues having L's and W's and L's. No, I think there's a time frame. I think they've looked at it and gone, we can't keep taking this pressure. We can't keep losing drawing games. We can't keep not seeing anything on the pitch. We can't keep seeing these fans turning against you and then turning against us because we're giving you more time. Like, you've got to do something here. We can't. You just can't. You can't get away with it. Generally, just can't continuously get away with it that long, in my opinion. What's this? Yeah, this is just so bad. And then it goes on to like stats, and you're looking at it like, this makes me feel sick reading it, to be honest. So stressed reading this stuff. No team has won fewer games or scored fewer goals than Chelsea over the last 14 games. So will they soon be worrying about competing with teams in the lower half rather than the top half of the table? My piece here. Basically, we We are getting closer to the 11th team and 11th club to the 20th club than we are to the top. The more we continue to take D's and take L's, the more we're going down the fucking table. Like, this is a problem. That is a problem. And I kept saying, even when I said give Potter time, right? Even when I was saying we've got to give him time, this, that, and the other, back a couple months ago. And the reason I wanted to give him time was because I wanted to allow him to have the squad back. And now he's got the squad back and he's still fucking up, right? Even though I said give him time, I also said that two things. I said, one, he can't continue losing games like he's losing them, or playing, or we play the way that we're playing. And I'm talking about like Southampton's and partly West Ham. He can't, for me. That just doesn't work. You won't survive. And you can't not win games. You could play shit and win games. As long as you're putting points on the board, you might look at the performance and go, well, just give him a bit more time, this, that, and the other. But we're winning. Points are on the board. He's doing the job. But he's not doing both. He's not putting points on the board. And we're not winning. We're not seeing anything on the pitch. We're not seeing anything on the pitch. He's not problem solving. It's like 3 or 4 problems. On top of all of that, he's sitting there with his like assistant. Every time the camera won him at Southampton, he's going every 10 minutes. He's just doing that, and I don't see any. He's not imposing himself on it. Help him, get him through it. Do something tactically. Change it a bit. It's not working. Southampton are bossing us. Shit. I fucked the midfield up here. Kovacic is not fit enough. All right, Ruben, warm up, mate. Yep. Okay, Kovacic, come off. Ruben, get on. Whatever. Maybe I move Mount to the middle. Fuck it. Let's change it. 3-5-2. Mount, sit in the middle with them two. Madueke on the right. Felix coming in on the left. And that Fofana. Change it. Like, he don't problem solve. He don't try and help us try and win. Just lets it happen. He just watches. He just sits there like a spectator. You can't do that. You can't. I'm sorry. You can't do that. I'm all down for giving time and knowing that where we are as a club and being in a transition and all that. But you've got to show me. You've got to show us something. You've got to show us what you're doing. What is it that you're trying to do? Like, I just don't see anything. Look, come on, guys. Like, Premier League's form, the table, the last 14 games, yeah? Look, the last 14 games. Man United are top. Where are Chelsea? Fucking hell. Our last 14 games, our form should be putting us 15th. If this was the start of the season and we played 14 games to now, this is where we would be. This is where we would be. That's how bad it is. We'd be 15th. We'd nearly be close to relegation. Oh my goodness. That's the form table. I mean, Man City would be 4th. Liverpool would be 6th. Tottenham would be 8th. 15th. We've got people like Forest and Villa and Leicester in front of us. Wolves. Palace. You just can't catch a break. We can't catch a break. We generally just can't catch a break, man. It's painful. It's generally utterly painful. This is the form table, bro. This is the form table. Look at this. You have to laugh. If I don't laugh, I'll cry. I genuinely will cry. Like, what is this? I can't. I couldn't believe how bad that was, and I know there's context to it with whatever with the injuries but when you deep it, it's so bad. That is so bad. We can't hide from this. It's not good enough. Jesus. That's how I feel. This is the other thing I was going to tell you guys, just so that you are aware. I'm going away on Wednesday. And I won't be streaming tomorrow because I'm going up to the airport. I've got to leave early. You won't see me for 2 weeks. I was trying to get someone on to do this show for me for 2 weeks. So I'll miss the Tottenham game. I'll miss the Leeds game. And I'm going to miss the Dortmund game. I'm back a day after the Dortmund game. So you'll probably get a match reaction for me from the Dortmund game. I'll be watching. I'm going away. I think I need it. But while I'm away, Potter could be sacked if he doesn't win these next. I might come back with Potter being gone. I might come back with Potter being gone, man. I might come back with Potter being gone. Who knows? But yeah, I'm trying to see if we can get the shows continued. I've asked someone to see if they could take over the shows for the couple of weeks. So you've still got it because I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to not stream for you guys, but I can't do it out there. I can't do it out there, man. Right, let's get into articles because there's a couple of articles that I want to go into. What we got here actually. Let's start with the article from Nizar Kinsella. Actually, let's start with him. Is that Nizar? No, that's Law. We need the other one, Jim. What is Pies got the ump about? Someone's telling me Pies has got the ump. What one's that? Yeah, yes, isn't it? Let's go through the articles. The most recent articles of today. But let me just quickly check Pies' tweets. Everyone's saying he's lost the plot. What's he done? I know Pies is not happy, man. What has Pies done? Oh, yeah, I've seen that. We can look at Pies' comment after. I'll put it to a side. But let's go through this article quickly, guys. Keep smashing the likes, please. Let's get this over. Let's get this over like 200 likes. Come on, we should be able to do that. Let's quickly fly through this article from Nizar Kinsella. Now, it's going to give us a bit more, hopefully, in-depth conversations in regards to what's going on and what they feel is going on. Let's see what the journos have to say about what's going on at the moment. Starting with Nizar, and then we'll go into Matt Law's article after. Chelsea faith in Graham Potter has been severely tested. We know this. I'm not going to read this. He says that it's under real threat. Chelsea have now won just twice in their last 40 matches in all competitions. Standard Sport understands Chelsea are reluctant to sack Potter, at least for a bit longer, with a business-as-usual approach at Stamford Bridge. What's that fucking mean? Business as usual. With a business as usual. What are we, trading fucking chicken shop? We're a chicken shop now. With business as usual. What is that, Nizar? Business as usual approach. It's a weird way to explain something. Potter has given his team a scheduled 2 days off, but he's planning to take training on Tuesday ahead of high stakes. No, he isn't. This is what annoys me. This is just a lie. I don't believe this. I'm sorry. Potter has given his team a scheduled 2 days off, but he's planning to take training on Tuesday ahead of the high stakes. Why? Why would the owners even allow him to take 2 days off after them two performances? I get 1 day. But why Monday as well? So that means we've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, I think they train and then they travel. And then we're off to Spurs Saturday. So 4 days of training before we play Spurs when we could have had 5 or 6. That don't make no sense. So if that is actually true, then Potter's even more of an idiot, in my opinion. You shouldn't be giving them time off. All right, the mental thing, I get that. Fans are angry, you've probably seen it. The players are taking it in. It's not fair on the players. I'd be getting them in the next day and sitting them down and going, look, this is where we've done wrong. My fault. I set you up wrong. I've done this, done that. I see it. But this is what I need you to do. And then I need you to understand my game plan. This is my game plan. This is what I want you to do. Let's work together. Come on, he's meant to be a good manager at managing. He's got a degree on the mental side of it. Like, why would you giving them 2 days off? Why would you? I don't get that. With anger among the supporters growing, defeat at Tottenham Hotspur could surely prove to be the final straw. Fans have turned against Potter, who is relying on Chelsea owners to keep their nerve. Potter was booed off after the final whistle on Saturday. It was not long before Potter out was trending. Obviously, it was always going to happen. The Chelsea manager has acknowledged that he is failing and that he is under pressure. And these were his comments. I know people want something different, he said. I'm sure there will be people out there that think I am the problem. Absolutely. I don't think they're right. What? Like, the fact that he's not took any blame from that. I know people want something different. He said, I'm sure there will be people out there that think I'm the problem. Absolutely. I don't think they're right. No, Potter, you are part of the problem because we're not winning games. and you can't solve our best team. You can't set us up right. You can't make substitutions in the half or in the second half that impact us to then go on and win the game. You're not problem solving. You're not problem solving, mate. You're just letting us play as we are, and we're getting ripped apart by bottom of the table league team. Like, we had no control of that game, mate. And if you can see players are not up for it, I'm not playing well, just have a bit of bottle. Take them off. Change it. Don't just leave it. Like, he's got to take blame. He can't come out with that type of comment for me. I'm sorry. Potter has taken the brunt of the blame for Chelsea struggles on Saturday, though he tried to hint that the problems at Stamford Bridge are not all on him. We're not saying it's all on him, but he's going to be the focal point because he's the manager. And along with that, he's not solving anything. He's not changing anything. He's not making good substitutions. He brought Sterling on, which worked, and Havertz. But my argument would be, why did you make so many changes in the first place? So initially, you set us up wrong anyway. You decided to give Silva a break. You decided to give Reece James a break. You put Mudryk on the bench. Havertz, all right, people wanted him on the bench. There you go. You know, Kovacic comes back in. All right. Again, I can't knock him for that. He's tried to get him to keep, and it's not worked, but he's not changed it. That is after the teams have spent 500 million on new players. There are also complaints from supporters about Potter's personality, which is different from the aggressive one of Conte, Mourinho. Then again, that, you know what? That all is hypothetical to be like, yeah, I get that. We haven't got an emotional, egotistic person that shouts and shows passion. But if he was doing it on the pitch, if he was showing what he was doing on the pitch and the players are understanding and we were winning games, I don't think we'd be questioning it. I don't think this matters if we're winning games, if the players are understanding the role, if whatever, you know, it doesn't have to be that person, in my opinion. But he's not doing that. With fans furious at Potter, there remains a healthy respect in the squad for his friendly character, even though some are reversing judgment about his ability to do the job. Don't blame him. One source has described how everything felt wrong after a recent defeat, with players struggling to understand their problems on the pitch, but there is also sympathy that Potter has arrived at one of the toughest moments in the club's history. He's having to integrate 16 new players, keep a huge squad of 32 players happy, and has to handle the unprecedented injury list. That's true. That is true. That is true to a degree. Yeah, because he has got a big list of squad players now that he's got to balance around this and the other. But it's only 11 positions on the pitch. So he's going to have to, you know, that excuse only allows that to be up to 1 point. So the 11 that you're putting on the pitch, you have to get right. And you have to play in their positions. And you have to get them to understand your game plan. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you still have to, like, none of them do. None of them do. I don't know what we do on transitions. Like, that's my problem. So that is true, and that is a problem. And that's what the owners have decided to do. And maybe that's why the owners are giving him time, because they've lumped him with all these players. But they're quality players. They're not bad players. They're players that are going to improve your game plan, your style. Chemistry will come with time. I get that. I get all that. But at least implement your structure, or try and show us what you're trying to do. The game plan, the style, the philosophy. Show us something. Like, you've got to show us something. There's also been a huge changes behind the scenes at Cobham and Stamford Bridge, and the club remains deep in transition following. We know we're in transition, but there's transition and there's fucking getting relegated. Like, we're going. I know it's not that bad, but, you know, we're not seeing anything. I get the transition, but the transition also needs to be progressive transition. So, yeah, we're going to have sticky periods. We accept that. We know that we're not going to be winning the league, or we know that. We know that. But we've got to see something. We've got to see something. You've got to show us something as fans. We've got to show us, right, this is what we're trying to do. We're not 100% there because of the chemistry, but you can see it. And we saw a little bit of it at Dortmund. I'm not saying we haven't. Dortmund, it looked all right. But why are we so north and south? Why can we play like that and then play like that against Southampton? Why are we not like, why is there no middle with Chelsea? There's just never a middle. Never. Many players are angry with the situation rather than Potter specifically. Aubameyang has been exiled with no explanation. Mason Mount remains a stalemate on a new contract. January signings were made for the future but are not helping the team. João Felix arguably the exception in making an immediate impact. Bollocks. Put Enzo Fernandez in there, mate. Put Enzo Fernandez's name in there. Like, are you blind? Fucking hell. In the eyes of fans, none of the excuses or promises matter anyone. Chelsea's new owners have remained behind Potter despite fans' discontent and see Mikel Arteta's early struggles at Arsenal as an example of rebuilding. Why are we looking at other teams? Why? Why are we looking at Arteta? And why are we looking at Pep? And like, all right, you've got to like see how they've progressed and got there. And maybe to a degree that's true. But I don't want to be Arsenal. I don't want to be Man City. I want to be Chelsea. I want to do it the way we do things. In the eyes of fans, none of the excuses or promises matter anyone with Chelsea on the verge of exiting the Champions League. Potter has always been figurehead of the new Clear Lake era, and they have paid a record £20 million in compensation fee to appoint him from Brighton, along the addition of half a dozen backroom staff from the Amex Stadium. Yet, as the anger from fans is becoming deafening for Potter, how much longer can the Chelsea owners hold their nerve? Well, this is the thing. They're going to... Jesus, just lost my thing. They're going to lose a ton of money. One way or the other. In my opinion. They're losing money now. They're losing money now. And maybe that they're aware of that. And, you know, that's fine. But... I don't know, guys. I don't know. All I know is that there's 700 people here now. There's 700 people in the building. Big up to all you 700 people that are tuned in. Thank you for being here. Matt Law article. The Matt Law article is next. So we've heard Nizar Kinsella's views on it. We are now going to read the article from Matt Law on it. Okay? Smash the likes. Subscribe. Let's get this over 200 likes, please. If you've not hit the like button, hit it now. I'm looking at the thumb. We should be over 100 likes on GNA TV. Why are we not over 100 likes, guys? Please smash the like, subscribe. Chelsea Fan TV, 600 of you guys there. 199 likes. Who's going to be... Oh, there we go. It's changed. The aim there, guys, 300 likes. Let's get to 300 likes over there as well. And let's get into the next part of the show today, which is the Matt Law article. Here we go. Here we go. 700 people. Yeah, I hear that. Big up to Kavkas in the building as well. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate it as always as well. Yeah, please hit the likes. Hit the likes on both Chelsea Fan TV and GNA TV right now. 750 people in the chat. Is it a question? This is Matt Law, right? Let's just go for it. Is that a question a section of supporters and pundits who have covered the club for years have been struggling to answer? The embarrassing defeat to Southampton. The Southampton loss meant that Chelsea have won just... I can't bother to read that. We know all this. Potter faced boos and isolated calls for him to leave the club by supporters at the final whistle of the Southampton game, after which he recognised that some people would think he is the problem at Chelsea. There is not yet a view shared by controlling owners Todd Boehly and Egbali, who remain supportive of Potter and believe there are a number of reasons why they would not sack him. Here's the Telegraph's exclusive outlines just to why Potter is still in the job. So this... what they're going to tell us now is probably just their own opinion. This is what they're doing right now. So let's see what their opinion of why we ain't sacking Potter is. All right? Matt Law's opinion. Sorry. Matt Law's opinion. Boehly and Egbali are privy to what Potter has been working on and facing around the scenes. While Chelsea fans understandably bemoaned the team selection for the Southampton game, for which Reece James and Silva were rested, the owners know exactly why. Go on in. It is understood that Potter was told James, Silva, Kai Havertz, Raheem Sterling and Mudryk risked significant injury if they were to start the game, which for James, Silva, Havertz and Mudryk would have been third in a week. Rather than put his own position first and take a risk, Potter took the advice of his medical team and ended up paying the price. The Ball believed Chelsea should have still had enough to beat Southampton, but almost recognised that Potter put the club and his players ahead of himself. Fucking hell. So what are we doing here now? Are we basically defending? Are we garnishing a defense mechanism to Potter. So basically saying that, the reason he didn't pick Silva and James and all these players, Havertz and Sterling and Mudryk, is because they could have got a significant injury if they were to play. Sterling came on for 30 minutes. Mudryk came on for 20. Havertz came on for God knows. It's all right. Silva and James, I don't get it. I mean, James, yeah. Silva did have an injury. I don't know, man. They're making. I feel like they're covering the wounds of this defeat by trying to say, look, let's not be too harsh on Potter because he put the players first instead of his own, his own righteous self for wanting the points. Irrelevant to all of this, right? I was annoyed that they all got dropped. Don't get me wrong, but I even said to you guys when we done the match preview to this that whatever team we line up with, we should be beating Southampton. They are 20th. They struggled just about to beat, against Wolves, who had 10 men. There is no excuse to not be beating Southampton. Equally, we're not winning games, even with our best 11, whatever that is, whoever that is. It's a lot of drastic changes to be made. I don't sympathise with it as much. I'm sorry. I know they lost with Wolves 10 men. That's something like. I don't sympathise with that. I know they're trying to use that as an excuse. Maybe that's their way of garnishing the loss. But the loss is a loss. You lost to bottom of the league. Relevant to these players have been supposedly in the risk of a significant injury. You set us up and we lost. That was your choice. The medical team gave you a bit of advice if it's true or not, and you decided to do it, and it backfired, and we lost. Big decisions have been taken in collaboration with the board, such as decision to leave Aubameyang out of the Champions League squad, knockout stages, and not selecting him for the past 3 games. Sources at Cobham also claim that training, which has been watched personally by Bowley and Igbali on a number of occasions, and the analysis has been excellent under the former Brighton man, and believe the results of the repetition and hard work will become apparent. I don't care what you say. Training and playing a game is 2 different things. It's 2 different things. You can train your systems. You can play in a certain way. You can build up your fitness. You can practice shooting 400 times at the goal. You can do videos of fucking every player that plays for attacking for Chelsea, putting it in the top bins, and it looks good. But then when it comes to the real shit, which is the match day, the big day where you go out there and now you implement everything that you've learned over training, when you don't do that, you have got yourself a problem. I don't care if it looks good in training and they look good and they understand it. I don't see it on the pitch. I'm not seeing it on the pitch. I only saw it at Dortmund, partly. And it looked good to a degree. Yeah, we played well against a team that had no clue about us, that never played us before, and vice versa. Let's not forget that. But we can't seem to beat fucking Premier League teams that play us twice a season. Every season. So what are you telling me? Because they know us, we just automatically gonna draw and lose games because it's just. Yeah, it looks good and whatever, yeah. But the fact that what he's trying to do on the training pitch is not really being shown enough on the main days of the game, don't work for me. Is a problem. And yeah, it might need a little bit of time and chemistry, and I get all that, but you've got to see something. We're not seeing anything. He's setting us up wrong. Anger management. Potter has faced accusations from the correspondent as well as former players and pundits. But senior sources insist there have been a number of instances of the 47-year-old becoming upset and having tough conversation with players in the dressing room and during individual meetings. Potter is described as being intense at Cobham, and there are no fears over his mentality or concerns that he's being swallowed up by the job. Well, again, do you blame fans for reacting to him to a degree when he comes out with pointless fucking press conference comments, like even the one after the Southampton game? He didn't really look angry, did he? Right. He might be like that with them behind closed doors, which really shocks me because he doesn't look like that type of character. I don't think he has that. I'm not saying he doesn't shout and get angry. Everyone does. We can all do it. But he's just not built. Doesn't look like he's built to be like that. And on top of all of that, it makes it 10 times worse, doesn't it? Because if he is, shouting and he's angry and he's and the owners are seeing it and the players respect him, Yeah, and they, and they're on him, and he's on them, and whatever. It makes it look even worse because when they're on the pitch, they don't even know what they. There's no intensity. There's no intensity to what we're trying to do. There's no intensity to what we're trying to do. So, like, what excuse is that? So, if you're this angry man behind closed doors, it's still not portraying itself on the pitch because these players are not playing with any intensity. They're not playing with any hunger. They're not playing with any passion. Like, what? I don't get it. Chelsea owners are understood to be pleased that they do not have a head coach who is prepared to point fingers and throw his players and club staff under the bus when things do not go for him. The complaints of the complaints of former head coach Thomas Tuchel after the pre-season defeat by Arsenal did not go down well, and Potter's style suits the approach of the owners far better, according to those with inside knowledge. What the fuck is that statement, Matt Law? Matt Law, what is that statement, bro? What is that? What is that? What is this? What are they talking about? And you know what I'm like? I will talk logic from both sides. But even me, the man that tries to find logic to what I'm reading, what was that statement? I need to read it again. Chelsea owners are understood to be pleased that they do not have a head coach who is prepared to point fingers and throw his players or club staff under the bus when things don't go for him. What? The complaints of former Thomas Tuchel after the pre-season defeat by Arsenal did not go down well, and Potter's style suits the approach of the owners far better, according to those. What? Because Thomas Tuchel's more honest about where we are. Because Thomas Tuchel was honest that this bunch of crop of shit players that we've had for 3 years are not consistent enough in their performances. What? Because he was being honest. That's a bad thing. So they had to get rid of it. Like, Matt Law's not painting these owners in any great picture to the fans by bringing out statements like this. Oh, Potter doesn't, throw the club under the ground. Or, he doesn't make the players feel bad. Or the people that work around him, he doesn't. So then that means everyone's just toddling along. Whee! Yay! Potter's not going to say anything. And we like that type of guy. Yeah, he just walks around. He doesn't have a go at anyone. He just takes the heat, and he doesn't really care. Like, that's what that sounds like. I've never heard of a more bullshit statement in my life than that. I'm sorry. What is that? You can't even paint that in any good way. We can't paint that in any good way. It's literally Vibes FC. That is the word. Vibes FC. And listen, I do think this is Matt Law's opinion. And Matt Law's opinion to me is not that big from what I've seen of him since summer last year. The amount of shit he's got wrong anyway. Like, I don't get that comment. That is such a weird comment. Bravery. Here we go. Whilst many would say that Chelsea took a bet on Potter when they chose him to succeed Tuchel, there is recognition from within the club that he also took a risk on them. Wait, I've got to read this again. My head's going everywhere. What is going on in this club, man? If this is all true. Whilst many would say that Chelsea took a bet on Potter when they chose him to succeed Tuchel, there is recognition from the club that he also took a risk on them. Okay, yeah, all right. So it goes both ways, is what they're saying. Club sources have noted the top managers and coaches do not like to take new jobs mid-season, with Bielsa the latest example. Listen, I don't care what manager you are. If the Chelsea job comes up and you get offered 60 plus odd million a year to come and do this, you're jumping. Even if you get sacked, you're still getting paid. You might not get it all straight away. You'll just get paid off like we did with the others when we sacked them. You can't knock Potter from taking the job. You can't. How can you knock someone from taking the job? He obviously felt confident in himself that he could do it. And he was ready. Fair play to him. But guess what? From what we've seen up to this point, he isn't. He hasn't been. So, and I don't know, like, he's got to start showing it on the pitch for me. He's got to start showing it on the pitch. Potter not only agreed with the takeover the Chelsea squad in mid-season, he also left an incredibly stable environment at Brighton, risking his reputation immediately future in the process. Potter has accepted the results and that have not been good enough, but there remains feeling inside Stamford Bridge that he at least deserves one pre-season to properly work with his squad. Yes, and I get that. And I've already said that he will get this season as a free pass, and I still think they want to do that. But he can't keep drawing and losing games. We can't be going on this crazy run of 15 games, 2 wins. He has to win in between all of this. It has to go like this. Up, down, like the weather. It can't just go straight down into the fucking hell of fire and just stay in the hell of fire or stuck in the mud. We've not got into mud phase. We're going into quicksand phase. We're so deep in the quicksand that it's already up to the neck. Like we're just breathing right now. Like we're not getting out of it. It's just eating us. We're just falling down and down. We're on quicksand phase. You can't keep playing. You can't trust the process if you're not putting at least a couple of W's on the fucking board. You win, 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 lose, draw, win, 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 or win, win, lose, draw, lose, win, win, win. Lord, you get away with it then. Because we can go, well, yeah, fuck it. We know where we are. You know, it needs a bit of time. Yeah, at least we're seeing something because we're winning games and we've done this. We beat them. We beat that. We won this. We won that. But we lost there and we drew there. But then we won again and we bounced back. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. It's just, oh, man. We are in quicksand, man. We are in... Matt Law is a brown envelope. Sack him now. You think we're fine. That's up to you, bro. Like I said to you, we are not in a stage where we can sit here and say that we're fine. Like, we're not in a stage, and even I'm saying that, and I was saying to give him time. Yeah, but he needs to, like, he's going to be given a time frame now for me. That's it. Time frame. And he needs to put W's. He needs to beat Tottenham. He needs to beat Leeds. And he needs to beat Dortmund. He can't lose all 3 of them games. I am telling you, he will not survive. And the reason he will not survive, and I keep saying this, is not anything other than the fans. And if these owners are what they're saying they are, which is listening to the fans, and the pressure still mounts from Southampton all the way to Dortmund, and we're still in this position, eventually the owners are going to react to the fans. And I'm talking about, it will go probably at 70-80% of the fans at the moment. Eventually it will go up to 100. I am telling you now, it will be 100% of this fan base eventually, and he will go if he doesn't change it around. He has to put some W's. He has to give himself some breathing space. Rather than paying the price for problems that he's inherited, the club has now considered sacking Potter or replacing him. But if they did, which top manager would be brave enough to take the current squad with 3 months? Then none of them. They'd want to come in the summer. And that's why I said to you, if you sack Potter now, you've got to look for an interim. Someone that's just going to pretty much guide you to the end of the season. Literally just coast you like on a plane. That is all you're going to need. And get players to play with a bit of passion. Forget the system and style and whatever else, because he's not going to be here long. It's just about winning now. It doesn't matter how you win, just win. Everything else is gone. You're 10th. You're out. Let's just say we're out of the Champions League. Let's just say at that point. We're 10th. What are we playing for? Other than pride and passion, trying to win a couple games, put some points on the ball. You might as well just get an interim in for 3 months, let them just run that, and then you get to the summer and you go, bang, this is the project, this is your summer, this is what we've got. I'm getting rid of all of these. He's going. Oh, you want to keep him? All right, keep him. He's going. You've got all this quality. Him. And then you go and get the new manager. And the manager goes, yeah, I want a striker. Who do you want? Okay, we'll try. Like, that's when they're going to take over. You're not going to have that now. Pain game. It's not even a word. Pain. This is fucking worse than pain. Chelsea's owners knew very well that they had to rebuild on their hands. Yeah, and I know that. And I agree still with that. They also calculated that the rebuild would most likely be painful given football does not allow for 5-year projects. Senior sources have told Telegraph that Bowley and everybody calculated that they could rebuild the squad and football staff in the space of 1 year and 3 transfer windows. Is that 3 transfer windows in total? So where are we now? Summer. So what? We've got, 2 more? But that would also, and I get the up and downs. Look, I'm prepared for the up and downs. I'm prepared. I am. I know where I am when it comes to Chelsea and where we're at. But we're not up. We're down at the moment. Down. There's no progression. The last couple of months have largely been considerable down, but there is a recognition that some of the work done in last summer's transfer window, predominantly for Tuchel, has created as many problems. Then why did you give Thomas Tuchel the summer then? If you didn't trust him and he wasn't good with communication and he didn't go to these meetings with you over the summer period because you wanted him to come to summer meetings after every training and report back to you on training sessions and all that, because all he wanted to do was focus on the team because he doesn't want to do the business side of it. If you didn't like that type one straight from that point, why did you go and buy players for him and then sack him 3-4 games in? Why did you do that? That's like, you can't go and throw this on Tuchel. Well, it's Tuchel's fault because, we gave him the summer and, now they feel that it's the problems that are created are partly to do with that. So what's the problem? Koulibaly, Sterling, Kukurea? What? Like, you made this problem yourself. Cobb insiders are well aware that Potter would never have constructed the squad he inherited, and it felt the January business has been far more in line with his own philosophy, albeit leaving him with far too many players to rotate and keep happy. The current view at the club is, together with Potter, must fight and work through a difficult period. So basically, they've lumped him with all these players, which he probably can't contain from what they're saying there. This is the excuse. This is supposed excuses so far. He rested all the players against Southampton because the medical team told him to. That's what we're hearing, right? And then obviously he took the hit for that. He protects the club and the players and whatever and doesn't throw them under the bus. Thomas Tuchel's fault because, we brought in players maybe that were suited to him and that didn't solve any issues for them to this point. So that's Thomas Tuchel. What else? What else are they blaming for? What else is he not like? I don't know, man. The City example. We got a City example. Manchester City's provide the benchmark for Chelsea at the moment, and the club have studied work closely with Pep to recruit the right types of players and then give the Spaniard time to integrate them and bring them out the best in the team. Can we just rewind for a second? Really? Let's rewind. Why are we even comparing ourselves to City? They have Pep Guardiola. Yes, the recruitment team have worked closely with him and it's been successful. But they had Pep Guardiola from Bayern Munich, from Barcelona, the man that's fucking coached some of the best players or the best players in the world and teams in the world and won things consistently. We're now looking at that structure and giving it to a manager who hasn't even got nowhere near that CV. So why are we trying to compare this whole Pep and Potter thing? Well, we like what they're doing. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we can do that with Potter. Why? What makes you think Potter can then integrate these players to play in the same way and like what Pep's done with Man City and make it work? What makes you think that? Because currently at the moment, we're not seeing anything. Not seeing anything. I've seen a couple good games. AC Milan and that good. Yeah, positive. Dortmund, the most recent game. But why are we comparing him to Guardiola? Not everything went to plan for Guardiola in his first season in charge at the City when the club finished trophyless and it had been apparent to new signs. Yeah, they didn't win anything. You're right. And they did struggle. But you know where they finished that first season? Third. Just as Strand had worked with Guardiola before at Barcelona, Chelsea co-owner. My point is, right, I just want to tie this up. We're comparing ourselves to a City team that are not in such as heavy transitional period as Chelsea. And part of the reason why of that was because, a bit like Real Madrid, they picked out some top players earlier on that they brought in through, via Pep. Yes, they added Kyle Walker through Pep and other bits, and it improved them, and it worked for him later on. But they didn't they didn't neglect their midfields or neglect their strikers or neglect their wings like we do. We neglected the areas. And then when we did try and address the areas under the old regime, we didn't really think about the profile player that we were bringing into the club at the time. And it ended up becoming a bit of a backward step. And the amount of times we switched managers on top of all of this with a squad that had a mix of 3 managers, 4 managers, whatever. It's a completely different setup. Chelsea is different to Man City. You might want to run the same module in your way, but it's not going to be in the City way. It's going to be in the Chelsea way. And that's starting from who we bring in to the system to the manager all the way through. Had worked with Potter Brighton that he's seen a significant in Winstanley and his co-supporting director Lawrence Stewart. Chelsea now believe they have the right support around Potter and that the January signings are players who can thrive under him and his style, both on and off the pitch. But Potter has not yet had the full month to work with them, and I get that. Like, I get all that, especially the new players. I get it, I do. But as long as you don't keep getting W's, even if we win 1-0 and then we shit, it's a W. Right, as long as he keeps not getting W's, he is going to have the same problem, guys. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Big up to Tony in the chat. He's still Potter out as well. Let's get people in. Let's get people in for the next 45 minutes. Come on, then. Let's put a link in chat. I'm tired. Actually, do you know what? Why we're doing that, we're going to bring people in a second. Let's just quickly read these other comments rather than put his own. Now, this is, we read this. Potter took the advice of his medical team. This is the excuse for the Southampton game. I did say I'd quickly highlight what Pies was saying as well. Let's quickly say what Pies is saying quickly. What is he not happy about? So this is what Pies is feeling at the moment. He's bad briefing that deflecting blame, comparing Potter to Pep, more emphasis on what he does off the pitch than on the pitch. No fault of the sack, despite worst run since 1995. 10th and worst win percentage of any manager. Up to fans to continue make their voices known if we lose. I need to verify it more first before I post, but what I'm hearing about some of the players isn't good. I think it's evident if you listen closely as well. Basically, he's now saying that the players are maybe a little bit up against a little bit up against the whole Potter thing as well. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I'm actually tired today. I can't talk anymore. Kazim, how you doing, mate? How you been?
Thanks for having me. I'm good, mate. How are you? You good?
I am. I'm just very tired and just I feel stressed at the moment with it all, to be honest. But yeah, it's how you feeling, mate?
Are you surprised? First of all, are you in or out? You have to say it, man. Come on.
So look, I'll be honest. Look, I am more close to him being out than I am in. And I've already explained to you people in the past why that is. And a lot of what I feel is what I see on the pitch. I'm not thinking about the press conferences too much. It's what he does on the pitch for me and how he solves problems, how he sets us up, substitutions. I watch all of them things. I watch how we play, the game plan. Like, these are the things that determine to me whether he's going to be a top class / world class manager. And I've not seen it. Only Dortmund to a degree, but West Ham, I was there, not good enough. And obviously Southampton as well, mate. So yeah, go on. What are you going to say?
Mate, listen. I said it to you, bro. I said it to you. I said he's out. And I said as well. You asked me the question. Do you think is it going to get worse? And I said to you, bro, it would.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I said, and when Gemma, I love you, brother. But when I say something, I meant it, man. And I know I saw myself on Twitter. I was Reece James comment.
That was funny, man. That was funny.
I think I meant it. I meant everything, and there was a context to that. And I said, I see the guy is not available, and
he's not valued at 40 million, though, Kazim. You can't say we could.
No. I think Matt didn't play the entire clip. So let me just put this to bed again. But I still stick what I'm saying. I said 40 to 50 million, and to me, best ability is availability. It's not available. And in order for us, again, look, I see it differently, Jim, and I said it was Thiago Silva, bro. I'm consistent, and I know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? Is for me the ambition to go win the league and compete, and if we don't have the right tools, we'll never. Because the issue with our fans is very emotional, bro. Right? And emotion don't win your fucking trophy. Simple as that. Reece James, good. Is he a good player? Never take that away from him. He's a very good player, and he could be our best player. I agree with that, right? But he's not available, and the best ability is available.
He's not 40 million though. That's what I'm going to say.
40. No, wait. Let me work this out with you. 40 to 50 million. Which team right now will give you 80 to 100 million for Reece James, and he's not available?
I can't believe we've been having this conversation. Kazim, we've literally brought Gusto in to help with the availability around Reece James because we've run him down, we've run him into the ground.
My brother, listen. Which team right now will he pay 80 to 100 million for Reece James when he's not available?
Everyone, any club that comes in for him has to pay minimum. I would say 100, Gem. Minimum.
Well, all right.
This guy's arguably the best right back in the world.
Which club did they come for him?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What club did they come for Reece James and willing to pay 100 to 102?
We've not been put in the market. That's why we've not. It's like
right, but listen, bro. Over the years, we know Real Madrid, if they want anyone, regardless, they will go get him. So I don't want to hear that till we see the bid coming in. Right? It's all rumors and all this. So I'm telling you. 40 to
okay, Kazim, the point is, Reece James is arguably the best right back in the world, right? He's proven, he's world class. He's a world class right back. If he was to move on from Chelsea, we'll get 100 million for him comfortably. No, that's not even a conversation.
That's your view, bro. I disagree with that.
Yeah, but the market isn't just about your market value. You might value him to be 50 million, 40 million, but what I'm saying is realistically, he's not going to go for anything less than 100.
If Conor Gallagher's 40, 50 million, how is Reece James?
How is Reece James 40, 50 million? There's no logic around that.
Again, I think, guys, you're missing the point I'm trying to make. Okay.
I know what you're saying. You're saying he's not available. So
yes,
if he's not available, then why is he?
Let's talk about Potter. I don't understand.
Okay, let's move on that. Let's move on that. Graham Potter, guys, my opinion about the guy. I don't think. He's a guy, and you know what,
right, guys?
Sorry?
That's the truth. Like Kasim is definitely right with all these things. Like we should not have a centre back who is that old playing for us as our best player. That just makes no sense.
No, it's correct.
The centre back is good. The centre back is good.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense for a team. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Just give me a second. It makes no sense. He's a really good player. He's a really good player.
I'm muting him. I'm not having people.
No. Stop, Jim, bro.
Start talking about Thiago Silva when we're talking about fucking Graham Potter and now saying that Thiago Silva's the problem at Chelsea. I'm not having it. I'm not hearing it. It's the most dumbest, lamest excuse I've ever heard in my life in regards to this thoughts about Thiago Silva. I'm just not hearing it. It's not right. Like, why are we even talking about this? Like, did you not even see Southampton without Thiago Silva? Did you watch it? Did you watch how fucking...
Are you talking to me or to the guy? Are you talking to me or to him?
I'm just saying, did you not see what happened when we don't have Thiago Silva in the team?
Sorry, are you talking to me?
Yeah, both of you.
Right, let me address that one, Matt. Yeah, what's happening against Southampton? Because they only score free kick.
Oh my goodness! Did you not see?
Thiago Silva is the best player at Chelsea right now. I'm telling you right now.
They score free kick, bro.
Did you see that we nearly conceded in the first 3 minutes with Benoit Badiashile?
Yeah, I agree. It happens every game. It happens every game.
Whether Thiago Silva's there or not, we should still be beating Southampton.
Yeah, 100%. But my point is, we're talking about Thiago Silva.
Yeah, he's not a problem
to Chelsea. But when we take him out of the team, it seems like the players that play really well next to him don't play well. That's my problem.
Yep. Look at Badiashile. Look at Badiashile. Look at Badiashile next to Koulibaly. Jem, I'm pissed. How dare you put Koulibaly next to Azpilicueta? Now let's get into Kazim. Kazim, carry on saying what you're saying because I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
I'm talking about Graham Potter. I already said my view, guys, about Graham Potter.
Let's go Graham Potter.
Yeah, do you know what the weird thing, Jim, is? I think, in my opinion, right? I don't think he's gonna get. I said it in my channel. I said I predicted he's gonna lose against Southampton. I said 1-1 or 2-1. He's gonna lose against Southampton. He lost. I wasn't surprised at all, bro. But the issue is now I don't think he's gonna get good result against Tottenham either.
He's going to be in trouble, then, isn't
he? Yeah, the issue is, Jim, if he even beat Dortmund or Leeds, is he the fan? I think the fan have the impression they made the mind up already, bro. I think.
Yeah. We're not beating Dortmund. We're not beating Dortmund.
I think the issue is the match-going fans. As soon as they turn, like we have seen at Southampton,
I think it's over.
It makes it even worse, in my opinion, because they're there. You know, they're there. They can hear it.
It's just not good enough, bro. Listen, we're a Chelsea Football Club. Listen, I spoke to people, and people find me, oh, this guy's a bit different, right? But listen, I'm not. I regard Chelsea competing, winning the league. I don't like the word top 4, bro. I hate it. Right? We're doing Arsenal, and this is what you all lot going to that standard right now, right? Top 4. I don't want to hear that. That's why when I say, comment about Thiago Silva, comment about Reece James, comment about the manager, come on.
You can run the wrong two.
And the reason,
nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody is too touchy. They're too touchy about the issue. But
I'll tell you why. Because let me just say something. There's no real logic to the reason why Reece James and Thiago Silva is a problem at Chelsea.
Thiago Silva is the best centre back.
Jim, I don't think I'm saying
this problem. He is a really good centre back. He's our best centre back. He's the reason why. If he's in our team, we play a lot more better. If he's out of the team, we play like shit. That's absolutely true. But if you look at our squad compared to other teams, just look at our squad compared to other teams. James Milner for Liverpool, he's a solid player. But Liverpool having James Milner is the reason why they're having a midfield issue, because they haven't replaced him. Now, if you look at our squad, in our defense, we need 2 young and athletic defenders. Top of their game, players that could get even better.
Go on, tell me who's out there.
That's the truth. That's just the truth. That's just the truth.
Players are not the issue right now.
That's just the truth. Potter definitely out.
Players are not the issue. I don't have a clue why we're having any conversation about players. Players are not the issue right now.
But if Potter leaves and a new coach comes, do you think that coach is gonna do so much more better? Yes,
I do. Yes, I do.
Is that what you think is gonna happen? Like we had Tuchel.
Like
everybody
Silva,
was like Tuchel out.
Silva was good on the Lampard. He was good on the Tuchel, and he's been good on the Potter as well. So like talking about defenders is irrelevant.
I'm gonna ask you one more time, Manny. I'm gonna ask you one more time.
Yeah. I think we're going off topic.
One second, Rashid. 1 second.
Ask your question.
You said we need 2 athletic defenders, right?
Yes.
Name me 2 athletic defenders that you want at Chelsea.
Gvardiol. We want Gvardiol at Chelsea. Josko Gvardiol. We want him at Chelsea. Yes, that's one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And?
Can I give you somebody else? Skriniar. We want, even those Skriniar we want. Bastoni we want. Bremer we want from Juventus. We want that. What's the guy? The guy that's playing the Napoli defender. The Napoli defender that plays for Japan, we want him. If we can get him, let's get him. Why not? Lucas Hernandez from Bayern Munich. Let's get him.
You get Gvardiol. You're playing off the left, which means Badiashile is not available. Thiago Silva plays off the right. So what are we doing here? Badiashile can't play, right?
Now let's look at it in a very if you want to look at it in that particular kind of way, we could get other defenders as well. What Ben White? Let's get Ben White from Arsenal. Why not? Let's pick him up. Why not?
No, I think
why not?
No.
I think Ben White's been great though.
No.
Why not? Why not? Why can't Chelsea's a bigger team than Arsenal? We're a bigger team than Arsenal.
He can't even get in the central back position. He plays right back. He's playing out of position.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't. Of course, he would want to come to us. He's getting played out of position, and Saliba is definitely taking his position. So why don't we just go to Arsenal and bring him over? Like, why not? He's a great center back. We could have him on our team. He's an English center back. Why not?
Because he's not the level.
Marquinhos from PSG. We can go for Marquinhos from PSG. Why not for him? Like, we're a top team. Why can't we go for top level center backs?
I like Marquinhos. He's world class. That's a different story. That with Marquinhos, I can agree on. Yes. But some of
Can we just talk about Potter?
Let's go back to Potter.
Let's go back to
Potter. Yes, let's go back to Potter. Absolutely.
Guys, if I can just put my 5 cents in here with regards to Graham Potter. So when you look at Chelsea, in terms of the managerial appointments, it was always a big presence, a person with a personality, a person that was able to handle the dressing room. Graham Potter never had that. Graham Potter is not a Chelsea manager, okay? He's not that profile of manager. So when you look at Chelsea, you look at the history of our signings. They've always been top-notch. They've always been marquee signings. This man has never been in a position to manage players like this. That is why he can't get his points across. I don't know what point he's trying to get across, but it doesn't seem to work. At the end of the day, we can't harp on losing Thomas Tuchel. He's gone. The thing is, we need to move on from there. And the problem is that the players that we have don't have that mentality that we used to. You see, under the Abramovich regime, we knew if things went south, there were bombings happening. Managers were going, heads were rolling, and we move on. This is a different era. Now, I'm not saying that Graham Potter needs time, because he has had time, but you cannot have so much of time with such a high-profile club and you're not bearing any results. He needs to go.
That's absolutely true. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
The thing there is this: we all thought Potter was going to do a good job. I mean, nobody really thought that he was going to like be this bad. Nobody expected this. But the thing is, he's been bad and shockingly bad. So it's not our fault that the results is basically detailing the fact that we're all saying Potter out. Everybody expected him to be actually a good coach when he came from Brighton. I thought he was a good signing. I thought he was going to be great for the team. But unfortunately, he's been dog shit. And that's just absolutely what has happened. And because of that, we can't just say, oh, we need to give him more time, even though we're seeing with the amount of time that we've given him that he's just not performed. And unfortunately,
but even from Brighton, even if you look from Brighton, what was his credentials? Because you look at a manager, when you take a manager and you place a manager in a high-profile club, we are a club that has been, if you look at it stats-wise, in the last 5 years, we've cleaned up, I think, more than any other team in England in terms of accolades. So you need to bring the same type of manager that's going to bring that same continuity in terms of mentality, in terms of trophies. There's no accolades that Graham Potter has that we can all sit here and all say, okay, what has he won? He hasn't won anything. So if you haven't won anything, how are you going to bring that mentality into the squad, into the club?
We got a super chat from Wilski. He said, "Who said we'd sell you Ben White? You clowns!" He's an Arsenal fan, obviously. Thank you for the donation, mate. We didn't say you would sell him to us, but they were obviously talking.
I would take him.
We would like to have him, of course.
I don't think
Belle Silva's obviously liked this comment that someone's commented on. I think she's either retweeted it or liked it, but basically it says, "Can you ask Silva to coach our club himself, because we have a deadbeat tacticalist coach who doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't even understand this is Chelsea Football Club. He thinks he's still at Brighton." She's fucking.
He's too militant, man.
Yeah, so that's pretty peak. Winter Surfer, what are you saying, man?
Who do you guys think should be the new coach?
Winter Surfer? Is he there?
I don't think he's there.
Jim, can you hear me?
No.
Who do you guys think should be the new
Don?
coach?
It's Don, yeah.
Don, go on, Don. What are you saying?
Listen, oh man, do you know what? I'm pissed off again today when I'm thinking about what happened on Saturday, right? Because I thought about it on Saturday. I knew he wasn't going to get sacked after that. Right, I knew he wasn't going to get sacked, but after what's come out today, Jem, all this PR trying to make excuses for this guy and the decisions that he's made is unacceptable. Yeah, you've got no excuse to start Azpilicueta at right back, right, and Koulibaly on the exact same side as him when we know the problems that Koulibaly's had in the Premier League. Fair enough, he played well in the Champions League, but what you can't do is put Koulibaly next to a 39-year-old Azpilicueta who's on the verge of retirement, right? How are you starting Mason Mount on the wing? I get it today. They've come out and said if Sterling started, if Mudryk started, he ran the risk of being injured. But Sterling came on and got more than enough game time to still get injured. So he should have at least still started the game. If you're going to put Mason Mount on the wing, at worst case scenario, bring him on the wing off the bench. Don't start him on the wing. And then on top of that, you start Kovacic in midfield. That to me, Jem, in the preview, we both said I would start Kova and Enzo. And the reason why I said that is because I thought would have control of the game. I did not expect this man to make this many changes.
He wasn't doing the basics, was he?
He wasn't doing the basics. He's come out in the press conferences. He's basically just kind of said, I know what I'm doing. Anyone that's chatting shit about my tactics just doesn't
Yeah,
know what
but
they're talking about.
I don't know about this.
How he got? Wait, the 1 second.
Go on, Kazim.
Bro, how are you gonna get control? You've been over the years. You've been watching Southampton.
Bro, I've been watching Southampton this season.
No. Right.
I've been watching Southampton this season, and what I know is that they're 20th.
Wait. Okay, that's your issue though, because I think it was a myth. Because Southampton, because they're in false position, because you like it or not, Southampton still have a very good players. Okay, they always
they're not 20th by mistake. Yeah. I've watched them this season, and we have enough players on that pitch of quality to dominate the game.
I'm not.
Yeah.
No,
so what are you saying then, Don? Like, if
what,
we have
what
enough
I'm saying,
players,
what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is,
how are we not dominating the game?
What I'm saying is, what he's doing right now in terms of his decision making is self-sabotage. Like I said,
No.
And after he does it, Manny, let me talk and let me finish, bro, because I let you go on about Ben White, which is just ridiculous. I don't know how dare you try to say Ben White as a replacement for Thiago Silva? How dare you, as a Chelsea fan? How dare you say Ben White? Put him next to Thiago Silva. That's ridiculous.
So you feel very comfortable having a centre back that every season has to renew your contract. You feel very comfortable having a centre back that every season needs to renew his contract.
Hold on, we can talk about Thiago Silva after that.
Yeah, just ignore that.
We can talk about Thiago Silva after and Ben White or whatever. I'm not going to partake in conversations about Ben White over Thiago Silva. That's ridiculous.
Being placed off on the wing is not a big issue because of the fact that
it is a big issue. Let me finish the point that I'm making. Let me finish the point that I'm making before you interrupt.
Money, just let me make it.
Let me finish, bro. You're literally interrupting everything that I'm saying. Let me land, bro.
Just let me finish.
Yeah, Mason Mount has not been playing well all season. Arguably, he hasn't been playing well over a year. In midfield, what do? You start him on the wing, yeah, when he's not a natural winger, right? Because you're scared that Sterling and Mudryk might get injured. But then, why bring them on then in the second half? If they're gonna get injured, if they're that high risk of getting injured, why bring them on for as long as you did? It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. The decisions he's made constantly, again, like I've said, have been abysmal. It's not the first time he's made weird decisions like this. I've been patient. I was one of the few people that were defending this guy when we had all those injuries. I said it. We can't ignore the fact that he's had over 12 injuries. We can make a squad full of all the injuries. And what I said was, what I expect from him is better performances and better results once we get everyone coming back. And hopefully once we make some signings as of January. So against Fulham, I saw him make some weird decisions. The first game we played against them when we lost, when he started Azpilicueta again at right back and Willian skipped past him and put it bottom left. He made a mistake there. Against West Ham, we drew that game. Did you guys watch West Ham yesterday against Spurs? Did you watch them yesterday against Spurs? We drew against them, right? When I watched that game against West Ham, it's like there was no fear. They played with no fear. It's like, oh, it's only Chelsea. We can beat these guys. And we nearly lost that game as well. If that Souček, if that wasn't given as offside, we would have lost that game, right? Against Southampton, again, making weird decisions. And I said it was a must-win. It was a must-win. There's no more excuses. And now he's coming out.
Did you predict to win?
I predicted a win based off of the fact that we've come off a decent performance at Dortmund, and I did not expect him to make the changes that he did. No one. This is why it's hard for me. When Jem's saying, "What do you think the prediction is?"
Listen,
it's very difficult for me to make a prediction.
Can I just say something, Don? All right.
Yeah. Wait. Let me finish my point, cousin. Let me finish my point, bro. It's very difficult for me right now as a Chelsea fan to even make predictions against teams that we should be beating because I don't know what Potter's gonna do. One week is this, another week is that. Do you know what I mean? So go with what your strongest team is. Why are you not seeing this game as a must-win? This was a must-win. What they're saying with the PR stuff, he put the club first before himself. No, this is the time to be getting results. You should have been getting results anyway after these new players have been coming in or some sort of performances. If you're not going to get results, at least give us some performances. This guy has given us nothing. No performances, no results. And like I said, against Southampton, that was a must-win. There's no excuses whatsoever. I don't care about the PR that's come out today. I do not care about that. Those players that you put out should have been enough to beat Southampton. And we looked like the team. If you've never watched football in your life, right, and you put on the Chelsea game against Southampton, the person watching that game would say, "Oh, are Chelsea in the relegation zone?" Because that's what we look like. How are you getting embarrassed by someone who's not even there permanently at the moment? They've got a substitute at the moment.
Say, were Chelsea the team without the manager in that game? So they look like
it. Listen. They just came out. They absolutely bullied us at home. the players just looked lost. João Felix looked like a completely different
But
player.
I wasn't surprised, though.
You had Mason Mount
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised at all.
I wasn't surprised.
So, like
They
I
already
said,
beat us. They already beat us already. Like
they had beaten us this
so
season.
why are we surprised that they beat us at our home?
What do you mean? Why are we surprised? Because look at the team that we've got there. This is the mentality. What do you mean? Why are we surprised? There's no excuses whatsoever. It's like you're trying to create an excuse, Manny, by saying why are we surprised? We've got a good enough team to be beating teams like Southampton, who just came off the back of 2 losses, by the way, right? And we're bottom of the table, and are still bottom of the table, by the way. And we lost against them, and it was a convincing win for them. It was a convincing win for them. Same problems again. Sterling not being able to finish. Havertz, I thought when he came on, he actually did all right. He done all right. He created a chance for Sterling.
He did.
Again, we just couldn't finish again. But why take off Fofana? Why take off Fofana when he's our only bright spark in that first half? What do? You decide to I don't know. You put Mason Mount as our striker. Bro, this is unacceptable. I can't defend this guy after the other day. And like I said, he should have been sacked. Yeah, after that game against Southampton, he should have been sacked. But I know they're not going to sack him. But if he loses against Spurs, Spurs, right, and they don't sack him again, Dortmund has to be the last one, because I've had enough. For me, Southampton, he had to win, and he lost that game, right? They have to sack him after Spurs. I don't even care about Dortmund anymore. Sack him after Spurs if we lose that game, even if we draw that game, because now you're taking a piss. And what pisses me off, Jem, is that this guy is insulting our intelligence, bro. He's insulting our intelligence. He's not taking no responsibility for any of these decisions that he's making. Yeah, he's answering questions like he's a politician, not speaking about the problems. How dare you? How dare you come over here and not show any accountability? We don't owe you nothing. I've got no loyalty towards this guy. But what I said was I'll give him time because he had all of these problems. I said I can't ignore this. He's got too many problems. As of January, no, I was able to judge him. And right now, Graham Potter, he needs to go. He's not the man for this job. Like I said, I'm all about giving patience to the right person. Graham Potter is not the man for the job. He's not the man for the job. He's taking the piss now, but he's taking the absolute piss out of our club.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear what you're saying. Winter Surfer, you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing? I mean, you've heard a lot in the space of everyone being here. I mean, how you feeling about everything?
I told you, didn't I? I think did I speak to you before the game happened? I think I did, didn't I?
I think we did, yeah.
I think I said a win's not good enough without a performance. So even if we would have come back on that game 1-2-1, I'd still be Potter out. Because I think time is not given, time is earned. Okay? For me, time is earned. So I need to see things that are different. I always said to you, my thing about when I gave up on Frank Lampard was when I saw Tammy Abraham crossing it to N'Golo Kante against Arsenal.
Yeah. I remember that.
With Tuchel, it was bringing on Ziyech against Dynamo Zagreb and playing at right wing back still and not changing anything, and him not wanting a midfielder. Saturday, there was multiple things that Graham Potter managed to eclipse both of them by doing multiple things at the same time on Saturday. First of all, you give the foul's a foul, right? The foul's a foul that Aspie gave away. But for me, I don't know why you're not sticking a player on each post for that free kick for James Ward-Prowse and then daring him to shoot. That's what I would have done. Starting Aspie at right back is fine, but then asking him to attack is just not fine. He can't do that. You don't need him to attack when you've got Chilwell on the other side. Just have 3 defenders or play Chalobah there, because there's no point in having Aspie there. He can't attack. He doesn't have the legs to attack anymore. Okay? If you're going to play him, you play him solely and just say you defend. That's it. And he can do that.
Aspie should be an emergency right back, a third choice, emergency only.
And I agree with I can't remember saying. I do apologize. I think it was Don or it might be someone else.
That's a joke. He should not even be in the club. He should not be at the club, and we all know that.
I agree with whoever said it. I've been an advocate for not having a Cover Enzo pivot, because they just run through us like when Kante and Cover played together. They just run through us because both guys like to go up a bit forward. They like to go up a bit more than they should do. I mean, playing Mount left wing why, if he's got his most production on the right wing, so why are you playing him left wing if you're going to do all that? But then the weird thing is, when you play Mason Mount on the wing, he likes to drift in more. When you play him as an 8, he likes to drift out more. I don't know what I don't know what he's thinking, right? He got 6 passes in 64 minutes. 6 passes in 64 minutes. And then what you do is, you take Fofana off, right? And you don't even I'm fine with Sterling coming on. But you take Fofana off and you don't even bring Kai on, right? You tell Mason Mount to go up front. And then what you do, Jem, is you have a crossing inshallah, crossing it to Mount and Madueke. Would anyone like to tell me what Mount and Madueke's heading goal stats are? Oh, there are none, because they don't have any heading goal stats to begin with. Yeah? You know what I mean? And then he bought Wesley Fofana and it's fine. But Jem, I'm looking at it, it got to 80 plus minutes. I'm seeing Wesley Fofana on the right wing crossing it in. What is this? What is this? And then you bring Kai on, fine, but you don't tell Kai, stay up. We're doing this crossing thing now, so stay in the box, right? You don't tell him to do that. And he doesn't listen or whatever. He drifts out into the wide, which he naturally does. But it's just a whole catalogue of mistakes in one. And then you come out after the game. You come out after the game, legitimately say, we played better in the second half. Who the fuck are you to say we had played better in the second half? Did we score? I think the goalkeeper made 1 save in the second half, and that was a Gallagher cross-hit shot, which he did, which was easy, right?
I mean, Sterling's got 1 cleared off the line,
right. But what I'm saying is, but you come out and say that. I bet that's what he told the players. Yeah. You played better in the second half. I don't want this camp counselor, youth pastor, best friend. I'm gonna be, we're bosom buddies. I need a drill sergeant, bro, or I need someone who's got certain stuff. I just don't. He's not. Hang on, sorry. And the thing is now with the owners, it's all about ego now, Jem. It's not about this is their guy, right? They chose him. It's all about ego, and they don't want to fork out the money and say that they were wrong. Yeah, I'm telling you right now. Yeah. If Roman was here, first of all, he would never have hired Potter. And this, I'm not saying owners out or anything like that. I'm just saying it's what they should do. If Roman was here, Potter would have never been hired. But saying that we hired Lampard, so we don't know that. But if he had hired Potter, right, he would have been gone by now. And people will say, "Oh, you're being spoiled. You should give him time." I'm fine with having time, but I need to see something. Consistency. I need to see something. I'm not seeing anything. The fact that you were told by your medical board that rest a few players, but then we've given them 2 days off.
That makes no sense. I'm sorry.
I don't know if you've done this.
That fumigated me. That to be honest.
Jem, I don't know if you've done this already, because we're speaking about the owners now, and if Roman would have done this, because we know he wouldn't have taken Potter, right? Jem, just go on Google and type in how much Potter was earning at Brighton, please. Just go on Google and show everyone.
I don't want to do it, mate.
This guy, right? I'll tell everyone. This guy was earning 2 million a year at Brighton, from what I've seen here on this article. 2 million a year. He's now earning 12 million a year. For doing what exactly? Like I've said, it's time for the owners now to hold their hands up and say, do you know what? We made a mess. Because we saw Todd Bowley was trying with all the signings he made in the summer. Again, all the recruitment team came in as of January. So now there's actually football people with a football brain behind him. When he made that decision to give Potter the job, he didn't have, Paul Winstanley and all these people, Vivell, there behind him, but now he does. So it's now time to swallow your pride and say, do you know what? I fucked up. I didn't know anything about football, but now it's time for me to make right that wrong and get someone who actually knows what they're going to do with these players that we've got. Because there's no excuse for these results, and especially performances, Jem. Even if I was seeing performances right and we're just not scoring goals, I can put my hands up and say, you know what? At least I'm seeing a difference here. We're not seeing anything. We're not seeing nothing at all.
Let me say something. So for Chelsea fans, I've been a Chelsea fan since 2004. That's a very long time, almost 18 years
You're lucky.
now.
That's when we started winning things. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was exactly. So now, here's the thing. With our team, if you look at our squad, we are lacking a lot of things in our squad, and number one being just natural goal scorers. We went out and signed Raheem Sterling, and everybody knows that Raheem Sterling, the one thing he does is to play really well, but not score goals. Everyone knows he's goal shy. Everyone knows that. But we went and signed another player who just can't score goals.
That's in Tuchel though. That's in Tuchel though.
That was
Raheem Sterling isn't goal shy. Raheem Sterling isn't goal shy. He literally has.
Don't.
Come on. There's no need.
Hold on.
Just wait. Give me a second.
Go on. I'll let you finish your point.
Let me talk. Okay. We signed Raheem Sterling knowing that he was goal shy. So we prepped up our squad with a lot of players who actually don't know how to score goals. That's one. Two, our only defensive midfielder in the team that is world class is N'Golo Kante. But N'Golo Kante is not reliable to play any game at all in the season. So, and we didn't replace him. We didn't even get another backup. We signed someone on loan who the coach doesn't trust. That just doesn't make any sense. Thiago Silva is a player that we've had for a good almost 3 years now. He's world class. He's been so good.
Manny, sorry, I'll let you finish.
Just give me a second. But we don't sign Skriniar. We don't go out there and get Marquinhos. We don't go out there and actually seal Gvardiol. We don't beat Bayern Munich to the Dutch player, De Ligt. We don't go out and get those big players, knowing that we have we're trying to actually build just a team that can actually win the Premier League. Those are just like.
I think my man here watching too much QNTV.
Manny.
Let me come up for a second, bro.
No, Kazin, there's a point that I want to say quickly, because Manny, the first point you made, right, is Raheem Sterling is goal shy.
He is.
What? Bro, yes, the guy has scored. Do you know who Pep Guardiola is?
No.
That's what Manny said. That's what Manny said. That's what Manny said. Manny, let me correct you, bro. Raheem Sterling has scored the third most goals under Pep Guardiola in his whole career. Pep Guardiola has had Messi, Lewandowski. He scored the third most. He scored the first most goals under Pep. When Pep looks at all the players he's managed, Raheem Sterling scored the third most goals for him. But the problem with Raheem Sterling was that we brought no creativity around him. Raheem Sterling, like I've said a million times, he's not. Let me finish. Let me land, bro. Let me land. Manny. I don't know what you're expecting. Like Raheem Sterling is not like
everybody
a hazard.
Knows
Manny, but you're saying he's goal shy, which is wrong. You're saying he's goal shy, but he's wrong.
That's not true, man.
One second. Wait, because it's just getting a bit messy, and I'm getting a bit lost with it. It's driving me mad. So. Manny, you're saying that Sterling's not a goal scorer. Is that what you just said? Yeah, is that what your thoughts?
He scores goals. He scores goals. Okay, so he absolutely has scored 100 plus goals in the Premier League.
Why has it gone from there to there? That's what I don't get. What's the problem?
But Raheem Sterling, everyone knows, is goal shy. He's not a great
finisher. He scores goals, but he's not a great finisher.
He's not at all. That's
the issue.
Like in front of the goal, he can miss. Like with no goalkeeper, he can miss. He has done that before for Manchester City in the Champions League.
So it's not clinical, is what you're saying.
He's not clinical.
He's not clinical, is what you should have said then. Okay, he's not clinical. We know this.
Clinical is a different argument than he's goal shy.
He's not a goal scorer. When we talk about a typical goal scorer, he's not a number 9, no. But what does he contribute to goals and has done throughout his Premier League career? Yes, he's the third highest goal scorer in Premier League history from a winger. Yes, he was in a structure at Man City that was built and set, but still his qualities, if you look at it even to this point, and I'm looking at Man City now, are still equally missed. I think if Sterling's in there, he starts and he plays with Man City now, and they benefit from having him in the team. He's a good player, but he's not a player. And I said this when we signed him. He's not the player that we bring in and think everything's solved now because we've got Sterling. I told everyone that bringing Sterling in was not enough and that we won't get the best out of Sterling.
It's a good player.
Yeah, and he's a good player to have. Yeah. He's a player that will contribute goals. He's a player that will in the box along with someone else who's going to score goals. So he will score goals. That's it. That's Sterling.
Can I just come in now? Can I come in? One second.
Go on.
You know what? No, it's spot on. Spot on, Jim. I think the money is absolutely spot on, but I think he used the wrong word. Maybe it's not clinical enough. And we know his finishing from the goal. He improved because when he came from Liverpool, he was atrocious. I'm not going to lie, right?
Yep.
He had the potential, and Guardiola improved him. And I know what has done on about when he finished, I think, on 21 goals a season or 22, something like that, under Guardiola. I remember that very well. But he's not clinical, so he's not enough. Okay, we needed someone actually. He can bot the ball, man. He can score goals. Okay, so money wasn't far off. He wasn't wrong. But listen, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. Money exactly saying what I was saying, man, about Thiago Silva, about the spine, about the DM, about the goalkeeper, and about the striker. That's what I've been saying, and people didn't believe in me, man. Right? And this is true. Listen, I never ever doubted Thiago Silva as a world class player before. No, but he had his time. He cannot go in the Premier League, and I said it before and I'll say it again, in the most demanding league in the planet Earth, with 39 years old, 40 years old, to go win the league. You cannot go with Kante off.
Let me ask you a question about
let me
Thiago.
finish, bro. Let me finish.
When you're done. Yeah, I just want to ask you. I just want to put that out there. I want to ask you a question.
You talk about Thiago Silva again? Fucking hell.
Yeah. I want to ask him a question.
Jim, I highlighted. Listen, Jim, I am not saying he wasn't over the years being good player. I want listen. People actually misquoting it, right? Right. I'm saying it for us. In order for us to go win the league, we need to really spend huge money on the goalkeeper.
Yes.
And a centre back.
Yes.
And a DM and a striker. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Really simple as that.
I'll just say, right, when you say that, right, we bought Fofana, we bought Badishile, we bought Koulibaly, we've got Colwill that's going to be coming back from loan. Like, there is centre backs there, right? Is there not centre backs there? Like,
but to be fair, Jim, a good point.
8 million on Fofana.
Bro, good point you're making, but. Did we see enough of Fofana yet?
No.
That's my point I'm trying to make up. Till we see him, and he plays well, and I said, listen, we don't need to spend money. Fofana's a young guy. I mean, don't forget as well, he's got an injury record, right? And he'd be fair. That's very crucial.
I mean, barring his ACL, his injury record before that was pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
Barring that big ACL that he got.
We do need to see more of Fofana.
Kazim, just tell me, like, give me some center backs in the league that you think are.
I answered that question before, bro.
I keep asking that question.
Just remind us.
No, but the thing is, look, AJ, I get the point that they're trying to make because yes, Thiago Silva's towards the end of his career.
Yeah,
he is getting on. He is getting on. So I can agree with that point.
So did you get my point now?
Kazim, we get that point. But what we're saying is, at this moment in time, Thiago Silva is still performing at a world-class level consistently. Yeah. But we've been able to get replacements for him long term, like for example, for Fofana.
Extension contract. And
because he's earned it. He's earned it. Thiago Silva was in the Thiago Silva helped us win the Champions League. He came up in the final due to an injury.
I heard that before. Listen. He can go till June because this year has been a terrible year. Even Graham Potter, I give Graham Potter till June. I have no problem.
You're overthinking it because we've got other players that can play in the same position as Thiago Silva. We're gonna go in the back four.
Let me finish, bro.
Chalobah, we've got Fofana. We've got other options there. So you're overthinking it.
I don't think, bro. Relax, bro. I don't think Chalobah is good enough. Remember, remember his QNTV thinking, winning the league
right back.
or competing, right? Remember that. We try to compete, right? So we need the right tools, okay? I don't mind giving Thiago Silva to the end of the year or Graham Potter because this year has been atrocious. So I'm not
in the same bracket as Potter, though. I don't get it.
No, I mean,
Kazim. Realistically, right, in a big squad, especially in a winning squad, you're not gonna have centre backs of the same level who are coming off the bench. But what you can have is players at a certain level that can come in and still do a job. If you look at Man City, when their players come in like Akanji, Nathan Ake, these guys are a drop off to Laporte and Diaz, right? So you're not going to have another Thiago Silva replacement coming off of the bench. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But Chalobah has done a job and he's played well this season. Let's be honest. I'm not saying Chalobah is the answer to start for us, but if we ever need to call up on him, like I said this season, he's been all right. He's been all right. You can't expect to have all these world-class players on the bench because realistically, that's not going to happen. You said about De Ligt.
No, I agree with you. You
think De Ligt and Skriniar are going to want to sit on the bench and come in when they're needed?
I agree. That's a good point. I agree with you. I consider that. Yeah, I agree with you. That's a good point.
So Chalobah is useful. To have because he's good enough player to play for us.
Why are we even speaking about players when the players are not the biggest issue of the club?
Yeah, let's talk about
players are the biggest issue of the club. What do you mean? The players are the biggest. The big players are the biggest issue. We sacked Lampard. We sacked what's his name? Tuchel. We sacked Conte. We sacked
Please, like, stop with the
all
comments about
coaches. We
players
sacked
because
so many coaches
no one
because of these
no one is
players.
going
What
to
do
tell
you
me that
mean?
Brentford have better players than us. No one is going to tell me that Fulham have better players than us. No one is going to tell me that even Tottenham have better players than us. So please stop with the crap about players. Like,
We
please
just have the
stop it.
wrong
Even before the new
profile.
signings, we still
It's
had
the
better players than
profile.
all of these teams I've mentioned. So please
These
stop
are
with the
good
players.
players. These are
Stop
good
with the players.
players.
Like, this is
Go on,
this is
David.
what I
Let's
mean
hear
about
what David's got to
when
say,
people speak
people. I
about
wonder what
Potter
David's
and the whole Southampton game. Like, why did we have to wait to that match to be Potter out? What, 2-14 wasn't enough?
Good point.
No, I
Good
was put
point.
out.
all
I was
of
put out.
all
Good
of
And
point.
Chelsea's
Jamie,
metrics
you got to
going
answer
down
that
wasn't
one.
enough.
Jamie, you got to answer that
Everybody
one,
was
bro.
talking
All
shit
these
about
other
me.
teams being
David, there's
above us wasn't
context.
enough.
There's context though. There's
Like,
context behind
it's
that.
weird. Like, I don't really get it.
Wait, let me answer it. You answer the question. I can answer it because for me, it's quite an easy context for me to answer. Because when you look at the position that we found ourselves in a couple of months ago and the amount of injuries that we have, and you can't ignore it as much as you want to go, hey, you got it. There was some serious injuries that we've lost in this squad, right? When you look at last season to now, the 2 seasons that have been played up to this point, Chelsea have had the highest losses of player injuries than any other Premier League club.
There's no excuse, though. There's no excuse, though. We've got enough players to be
yeah, but we've lost important players, right? Is what I would argue in that as well, right? In terms of Chilwell, in terms of Reece James, important players to the balance of this half good squad is what I would call it, and I've been saying for a while, in my opinion, right? So that is always going to be an issue, right? And we can't ignore that being the case. On top of that, he took over from Thomas Tuchel in game what? What number of games did we play before Thomas Tuchel? So was it game 4? Game 5?
5.
Was it when he came in?
Yeah, it was 6 or 7 or something.
He came in 6th or 7th, right? This is him coming in with the squad that you could maybe argue if he'd had the summer, he might have been able to improve himself and had the time, which we didn't do. You can look at the owners on that case. That's part of the owners. In between all of that, obviously, that did come at a good time. We had a World Cup, which has never been seen in a December period, which completely and utterly shut football off going into this season, right? There's a lot of things that haven't gone our way and haven't worked, and we've suffered on the pitch, and we've been playing players out of position. We've seen the likes of people like Conor Gallagher being played in pivots because we'd lost people like Kovacic, and we know Kante was gone. Ruben wasn't available for a very long time. People forget as well. And the only out and out midfielder that we had available in them times was Jorginho, who's now not at the club anymore. Right, we were equally unbalanced there. We lost Reece James, we lost Ben Chilwell, we had Cucurella, fine, and I get that. That was part cover, but he wasn't performing well. Our forward line was a mess because we've been moaning about our forward line, not only just under Potter, but under Tuchel, even though we were doing well, even at the end of the phase under Tuchel. There's a lot of things that up to this point, and to that point, before obviously now we've got the squad slowly coming back, that have been an issue, in my opinion. And not that I think he shouldn't problem solve, because I think in certain games, I think he should have won. I still think we should have, he should have set us up. We've got the quality there. We should go and win. I get that. I understand all of that. But why I've waited to this point was purely because I wanted him to see what he could do with a full squad back and how he utilizes the squad, manages the squad, and gets the best out of the players, how he problem solves and how he gets how he gets us to win games like Tuchel did through parts. So even though we didn't like what we were seeing, and some fans like Kazim, we didn't want Tuchel here, didn't like what we've seen. One thing we could say, Kazim, about Thomas Tuchel is that he was getting results. He still got results here and there, right? Potter's not doing that now. And now he's got to a point where he's got the squad. Yeah. He's got the squad coming back and the players are available now. And now there's no more excuses because he's got the players there. He needs to get them trained. He needs to get them to understand the structure, the style, and he needs to implement the best 11. Fuck if you've got 30 players, because the owners have given you all these players, the qualities that he's been given. It's about him being sharp and playing his best 11 that suits his best system, right? And what he hasn't done since West Ham to now, barring Dortmund, because I thought we played quite well in Dortmund away, but there was context to that as well. But I'm talking specifically about the Premier League, is because them 2 games specifically, West Ham and Southampton, he could have done that. Yeah, and he set us up wrong. He didn't have an answer to them games, right? He made the wrong substitutions, late substitutions, and these are all things that are now built up to what it is now. And that's why now we're getting more of a pull from other people that weren't Potter out 3 months ago, because there isn't no answer to it. You can't now argue about it with him. Does that make sense?
He worked through all the bullshit.
The problem for me, though, is
all the tools.
Jim, thanks for having me, mate. I appreciate that. Take care, man. Bye. Thank you.
In a bit, Kazim. See you later, man.
Potter had enough tools over the last 2 games to get the results. The last 2 Premier League games. So that's why now you're seeing people who are defending him or kind of halfway in, halfway out. We're like, nah, bro. you've shown us over the past 2 games, like you're not really influencing the team, and that's where we questioning Potter. So that's why now I'm like, if Potter goes, I get it, but I was defending the thing for a minute because I just understand the fuckery that we was dealing with.
That is the answer to why some
problem-
people were reluctant to it. That's
The
what
problem
I'm
for
saying.
me with that argument is, I swear to God, didn't Tuchel have more injuries than Potter has right now?
No,
they were very similar. They were very similar.
We
Yeah.
shouldn't
Like,
compare.
wasn't there a point when
Potter,
Tuchel had to use he had to use Loftus Cheek as a CB?
No,
No,
what
yes.
you're talking about,
Look.
you're talking about the COVID period where we
Yeah.
lost like Werner, Lukaku, and there was COVID along with injury. I remember that period. It was about a 2-week period.
Havertz as well. Havertz got COVID, but that's not the.
I remember all that.
No,
I do remember
that's
what
not
you're
the.
saying. Yeah.
I mean,
That's
for
not
me,
the point, though.
I'm
That's
just
not
trying to
the
make one more
though.
point. One more finishing point. I mean, for me, the biggest problem with this whole Potter thing has been this notion of a process. And I'm on Twitter a lot, and what I've come to realize is that like people just want to give Potter time for the sake of giving him time. They just want to be able to say we've given a manager time. They want to also have this thing where they want Chelsea to embody the myth of like of Arsenal's process. That for some reason, if we give Potter like 2 or 3 seasons, magically, definitely, we'll start challenging for the title. My biggest issue with the whole thing of Potter has always been, we should never be comparing ourselves as Chelsea Football Club to Arsenal. The people we should be comparing ourselves to are Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and all those other elite teams. As much as people hate Roman Abramovich, every single other elite team in the world operates the way he operates. And in fact, they operate even worse than he does, because it's not even enough to win the league. You have to win the league in a specific way with those teams. So, I think what people need to hold on to with Chelsea are the standards, because from what I can see right now is the standards are being eroded. And, one thing you cannot do in the Premier League is dilly-dally, because if you dilly-dally, you will find yourself where Arsenal found themselves. Arsenal didn't start a process because they wanted to start a process. They started a process because they were forced to start a process. They spent 250 mil, a season ago? And they spent that 250 mil on young players. Why? Because they weren't able to pull the great players like they used to, like they used to in the past. That's what happens when you fall from grace.
David, the key thing you're missing though is that
if you want to, well, hold on, I'm going to finish. If you want to embody that notion, like go ahead, do that, yeah. But the risk you run is being in a worse situation than Arsenal, because now there's Newcastle that are coming up. Man United are back, and they're looking like they're going to have Qatari owners. So it's only going to get worse from here. The best thing for Chelsea to do right now is to remove Potter and get somebody in that can uplift the players and at least, invigorate them to the end of the season. If best, I think it would be better to get a new manager. If you can't get a caretaker, it's better to get a new manager, because at least you can use the rest of the season now as a preseason in addition to the preseason, rather than wait until next year to the point where you have to sack him and then now have another season you write off. So this is the kind of situation that we're in right now.
Yeah.
But for me, I just feel like as fans, because it's looking like the owners don't really have the standards that we need to have. So as fans, we need to keep those standards up, because if we don't, this club things could really get bad, because we don't have the same level of financial income that even Arsenal have, because we don't have the stadium. And really and truly, Chelsea have had the money we've had because we've been winning. So if that starts to drop, things could get worse.
David, that point you make about Arsenal, I get the point that you're making. And the reason why people were comparing that process to ours is the fact that they waited 3 years or however long they did. And now they're in a position where they could potentially win the league, right? And they're looking like a whole different team. They're out of that banner era. But for me, that Arteta thing is void now, because with Arteta during that 3-year period, as much as he wasn't winning, you were still seeing a change. You were seeing a progressive play. You were seeing a style of play. But the difference there, he had players like Mustafi, Luiz, Willian, these sort of guys that can't do what he wanted to implement during that time, right? But with Potter, we haven't seen anything. So anyone that's still using this Arsenal thing, you look at Arsenal, they waited. No, that's completely void, because Arteta showed something Graham Potter
It's not
has
void.
not shown anything. It is void.
Arteta would have been sacked. At any other elite club, Arteta would have been sacked.
Of course,
he would have been sacked. At any other elite club, Arteta would have been sacked about 2 times already.
No, two things can be right. Two things can be right at once.
Yeah?
Like I said,
And
Arteta definitely would have been sacked. But the point that I'm making is, at least with Arteta, you saw a change in how they were playing at the time. They just did not have the players to do that.
I disagree with that.
Then you must not be watching Arsenal.
Because I used to
any
watch
Arsenal fan will tell you this.
I was watching AFTV religiously during that time because obviously it was fun to do so. One of the things they used to mention all the time was there is no style of play, right? So
and that started to change.
So people can't even like. I think the problem is when fans talk about style or pattern of play, or whatever. What really that they're talking about is just winning, because no one cares about pattern of play. Like Potter has a pattern of play. Like his pattern of play is more direct than Tuchel and other possession managers.
David, how are you talking about AFTV instead of
the thing is
just
making empty points?
You didn't watch the game, bro.
Empty points.
I was watching the game. I was watching the
on.
games, and I was seeing a massive improvement in how they were playing. But again,
Really
they had bozos in their team. You can't go off of AFTV and what a few people were saying.
Don't
watch the games, bro.
Okay. So what was Arteta's style of play? Tell me what Arteta's style of play when he first came in was. What was it?
Hold on. Because I'm not about to get into wait.
For the team.
Please wait.
I think that's what we should talk about, right?
What was it? Because the whole joke is people have complained about Potter sometimes going defensive. Arteta, when he first came in, he tried to be open. It didn't work, so he went fully defensive because he knew that the players aren't good enough, so I'm going to go defensive. So the thing is, like, people can preach as much as they want about pattern of play and all this stuff, but it depends on what the pattern of play is, and that because if Potter goes now and says, okay, I'm going to put 5 men behind the ball, and that's the pattern of play.
Do you like
no one's going to like that.
Play right now?
No one's going to like that.
What's the manager's role as a manager? What are they meant to do when they come in? What is
the players?
The manager's role is to assess what you have and think about what you can do with what you have.
And
so
also, but what does that mean ultimately?
Yeah, so what that means is you might want to play open, expansive football. Yeah. If you know that can't happen with the players you have, then you go defensive.
No, you do what Thomas Tuchel did, right? Which is what when we saw.
But the problem, that's the thing, though. Like,
doesn't mean he specifically plays like that. That's his style of play, but he accommodates to get the best of what he has for now, right?
You find a system that works for the squad.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Can I add something? Why is both things can't be true? Because I'm tired of hearing about Arteta and Arsenal. Like, both things can be true. Both things can be true. Arteta did show progress. Arteta should have been sacked. Both are true.
Exactly. That's my point.
Listen. But really quick, I'm tired of hearing about Arsenal and Arteta. Because here's a real good point we need to make. We are showing zero progress under Potter. What the fuck does Arteta matter?
Yeah.
We're showing zero.
Who should we sign as the new coach?
Listen. Everybody's like,
who should we sign as the new coach? That is the question.
No. That's not the question. Let me finish talking first off. Second off, that's not the question. That's not the question.
Then what is the question then?
The question is, how do we rectify this mess? It's beyond who do we sack and get back in. Do you not understand? Chelsea Football Club will be 12th.
Kelly, the real question is, when is Potter getting sacked? Hey, I'm having a lot of fun that you all sound like me now. I don't know what to say anymore. You don't even need me here no more. I don't even know why I came, because I thought I was listening to myself. That's what I thought.
Declared. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm glad you're still alive, Kelly, because I wanted the win just for you, right? And I was really worried about you, Kelly. That's why. And when it didn't happen, all I could think about was you, right?
Fuck off.
But I didn't sleep the whole night, because as you know, the time zones are bad for me. But like, it was a 2 a.m. game, and I just watched everyone turn, and it was kind of very interesting to me. And I'm a little bit shocked and probably saddened too that everyone's just more upset than what I was, definitely, because I just been saying what you guys are saying now for a long time. But now that you guys are all saying it, I think
the way I said it. You've not been saying it the way I've said it. I said it completely different to you.
I still think we're saying different things, bro.
Jem, I probably think you wrote some of my stuff down and repeated it. It was that well. That's how bad you. That's how good you repeated it. No. You done your research, Jem. Listen, the thing I'm more actually concerned is that I think it's going to get pretty ugly. Like, I think, like, Tottenham know that they're so used to not getting nothing out of us, and now they can smell blood. And I think that could be a shocking result. And people just, I think it's going to get to a point where I'm going to say that's too much. because like people, I'm starting to notice, and it's probably rightfully so. And I'm not sure who. Someone brought it up. Was it Don about Potter's wages?
Yeah.
Yep.
What he went from?
Yeah, he'll be getting 60 million if he gets sacked.
Because I know Bowley spent a lot, but you also got to remember that out of the buy for the club, 1.5 billion was meant to be invested over 10 years, right, back into the club. So that was an agreement. After 1.5 billion, they might not spend anything anymore. And it looks like he's racing to that number, and he's signing people on 8-year contracts. He's almost doing it in the decade.
Exactly.
So I'm a bit thinking about that, he's spending as well, because if that was what he was going to spend for a decade, he's kind of being a little reckless with it. And what's massively reckless, I'm wondering what data, right, did they use to measure Potter, right, to not only give him from 2.5 to 12, to make him the third highest, 12 million, which just under Pep and Klopp, and Pep and Klopp didn't get that.
Yeah,
they had to prove themselves.
Yeah,
that was like their third contract. That was like after winning titles, they got that. But Potter got a 5-year contract. He got a winner's contract, like as if he's been winning trophies for us.
But look
and
at
I don't get how the jump was made. And I read, I don't know it was Fabrizio. I'm not sure who said it, but he's quoting the board. Apparently, they still feel Potter is like one of the greatest managers. I just want to know this data-centric thing that he must have used, because he got Potter in before he got Vival and all these other people, these experts.
Yeah.
So who the hell advised him, and what data did they go off Potter? Because
The data was
I'll tell you
vibe.
this, yeah. If I was in Bowley's position and I had to get a manager, yeah, and I'm not familiar with the sport, I don't have a lot of experts around me, I'm going to get someone well known, yeah. So it could go wrong. Like if he went for like, oh, look, I know Mourinho's famous. I know he used to be good, and I'm going to go for Mourinho. Like, even though we don't want him, but why didn't he go for like some high, well-known person just to be safe, because he doesn't know?
Because Bowley wanted the yes man. That's why.
Look,
I'm not sure
if Bowley's going to come out.
But
Yeah, look,
like,
I just want to know if Bowley's going to come out and talk about All-Star games. I want to know how Bowley came to this conclusion of Potter. I just want to know what data they use to measure managers.
They wanted a manager they could grow with. They wanted a manager they could grow with. That's basically what it comes down to.
So why didn't they just buy the youngest manager out there?
Yeah,
and
nobody thought he was going to be this bad. Nobody thought he was going to be this
I
bad.
think we have to not lie to ourselves. Like Potter was doing okay at Brighton. He was doing okay at Brighton. Like he was.
I know.
Like he was.
Any manager's a risk. It's not about hindsight. It's about the gamble you're about to take.
Yeah,
and
that is the gamble. They took that gamble. They factually took
that gamble.
Yeah, but they did it stupidly. That's the issue. They did it stupidly.
This is the thing, right? The wage that
they
he
might
gave
have a clause
was like
in the
as
contract.
if he was trying to bring a high class manager in, a world class manager in. That's the wage he offered. He didn't offer Potter 18 months or maybe 3 years or 2 years, something like that. Something that there's if you don't make it, we part ways.
He's not leaving Brighton for 18 months, bro. He's not leaving Brighton for 18 months. Why would he do
what
that?
We're trying to do at the moment,
you're right.
What we're trying to do here, Declared, is
you wouldn't leave your situation for 18 months.
Why decided to make the decision that he did with.
I agree with it.
But we're not gonna get that, and I agree. I think it is a crazy amount. 60 million. If they sack him after the Spurs game, if he does go south, they're gonna have to pay 60 million pounds back. Yes, it don't make sense. I don't get it. I do.
There might be a clause in the contract. There might be a clause in the contract.
Don't forget that we paid Brighton. Was it 22 million or something to get him out? To get him out of that contract.
Yeah, we had to pay
20 million to get him out. Yeah,
so it's going to be you're looking at plus.
80 million. You're looking at 80 million,
and his assistant coaches too as well.
Yeah. So the point. That's the point. The point I'm actually making is now it's also Bowley's kind of like stuck into this as well. And if Potter's stuck here just because of financial reasons, then the biggest blame has to be shifted on Bowley now.
He's not, because if he walks, he gets 60 million. If he stays, he's in the job still. He doesn't. Potter in both ways, and they'll do what they did with Mourinho, if you remember, under Roman. When we sacked him, they just paid him off. They'll just pay him off year by year. They didn't get it all back straight away. They just pay him off contractually.
Yeah. So it's also
Jem, what I'm saying is if they don't want to sack him because of the payoff, like now, like
I don't think
to get way
I don't think the payoff is the issue. I think the issue is that I think the issue is that they sacked Tuchel, they brought this guy in. And the 5-year contract was basically them saying, we're really sure this decision is correct. And now, if they sack Potter, they're going to look very, very stupid. And I think
so he's going to stay on ego.
I think that is the biggest. I think that is
going to stay on ego now.
We're sure it's correct. It's we believe in it. It's not we're sure it's correct.
The money's not a problem because they can just pay him. They can just pay him yearly.
But it's
financial reasons.
How do you get somebody who's
I
successful
don't
in
think
his
any
position
business.
for the past 4 years to leave their job? How do you
I
get
don't-
that? You have to offer over the odds. That's how.
No, you don't. Not if the person's at Brighton. Not if the person at Brighton. You're Chelsea.
Potter wasn't the only manager. What you offer Potter, someone in Potter, right, position is an opportunity, right? Opportunity at a big job to make it, right? I know he doesn't want to. He's got security at Brighton. I know, right? But you offer opportunity. If you didn't want to come and you want to take that risk, you can go for some other managers, right? And you can offer any of them opportunity. But the fact is, Bowley didn't have good people around him as well, right? So he didn't have everyone the hierarchy they have now.
Let me just clarify that, because I said that earlier. He literally made a decision between him and Egbali. There was no one there. Like, that's when we appointed.
Jamie, if you said it earlier, I was a little bit in and out. I was driving the car, I didn't hear it, right? But it's a good point. What I'm saying is that
I get 10 seconds.
I'm sure they
just
have
10
their
seconds to
own
say something.
criteria as to why they chose Potter. You may not believe in Potter,
of course,
but they have their own criteria.
Yes, I agree. And I think on top of all of that, I think they've looked at the project, they've looked at the philosophy. I think they have an idea of how well they want to run with it. If you've only got to look at how quick they've acted in the short space of time, they've been in control for 1 year. They've completely filled up the board now with the people they want. They're buying mad in January windows. They bought semi-mad in the summer window, just gone as well. Like, they're trying to move things on very quickly, maybe a bit too quickly. And on top of that, they've got this manager who they've pulled aside and feels maybe fits the pattern of their project that they feel they can move forward with, and like what he's done at Brighton, etc., etc., and not just on the pitch though, guys. It's also, you got to look at what's off the pitch, because when Paul Winstanley comes from Brighton, when Lawrence Stewart's done works with him in the past as well, these are all people that are connected to Potter in its own way. So they have built this up in and around him. So it is very hard right now in the position of the owners to really want to have to pull the plug on a manager that they've already told him probably before he come over, we will back you, we will trust you, we'll give you this season, and we'll do our bit. But then he's got to do his, and this is the problem. He's not doing his. The fans have turned on him, right? That's ultimately even the worst thing for the owners, because once the fans turn, if the owners not listen to the fans, eventually the fans are going to turn against the owners.
He's united this fan base, Jim.
Yes,
united this fan base.
Exactly. Yeah. So what they've done is
I used to feel so alone.
What they've done is they've put all of this has put the owners in a shit position now. Because, like you said, they sack him, they look like idiots. They keep him, they look like idiots, right? They've committed to a 5-year contract with him because they feel he's the guy to do this moving forward. But they can't even get to the end of the season that they were going to give him a free ticket because he can't even put a couple of wins together. So they're in. It's a hard moment. I get it. It's hard, but equally at the time, the owners are going to have to make a decision, because look, if we lose Tottenham and we draw to Leeds and we go out against Dortmund, let's just say, and he's still here through them 3 games, the pressure that's going to build up from not only the fans, but all the fans across the world is only going to amount to the owners having to listen and make the decision and cut the loss. And then the fans are going to look at the owners and go, well, they fucked up. But then the next big thing of what the owners will then have to do is get the next manager, to whoever it is to come in next, get it right, because that's the next step. Yes. We might be able to accept it in the long run.
We lose to Tottenham, it's over.
They've done good work.
Do you think they would sack him?
They tried to get him very quickly. They're not going to sack him.
How many times?
Yeah, they're not sacking him. They're not.
Go on.
Do you think they will sack him if we get relegated?
Jim, I understand. I see the frustration.
If we get relegated, will they sack him?
He's not going to get relegated. We need 9 points to escape relegation. He's not getting sacked. Yeah. We literally need 9 points.
There's 14
The earliest
left.
you see him sacked is maybe next year at Christmas. That's probably the earliest you see him sacked, bro.
Thank you.
Certain lengths.
Can I ask you all a question? Do you guys think that?
Can I just read this super chat quickly?
Yeah, sorry.
I could have not had it. You could have not said it better. Big up to David. What Steve said there. We've got another one here as well. Big up to Steve for the comment. He's also put one here saying, "We're not Arsenal. We are the standards. Potter's out. Potter out." That's what Steve's put in there as well. He's not happy with Potter. Is there any more? Let me fly through. No. Go on, Declared. Go.
do you guys? And this is like not from the start. Do you think Potter has reached the point where he actually wants the sack?
No,
like
Yes.
for me,
Yes.
For 6
because
PM?
That's
Yeah.
a decent shout.
like
That's a
yeah, like he
decent
wants
shout.
to pay out and leave. Like he's had
That's a
enough of
decent
whatever
shout.
No,
situation.
That's
if he did
business
not want the
too. That's
sack, we would
business
not have
too.
lost to Southampton.
Declare. Do you
And
know
he
why I
knows
know that?
that.
Because
He
if you
knows
look
that
at Potter,
too.
if you look at Potter after every result, right, the guy just looks so comfortable. You know, like when the
Very.
manager's on the ropes, you can tell because of the things that
Yeah,
they're
they start
saying.
lashing out the media and stuff like
They
that.
start lashing
Yeah.
out all of that. But with Potter, he's so relaxed. You know, yeah, well, you know, it's life. It happens. We'll just go
Do
again.
you know what? Do you know
the
what I
hell?
will
Bro, he
say
had the
to you?
arrogance to say, "I'm not the problem," and took nothing.
Claire,
No,
can I just say one-
yeah.
Can I just say one real quick thing? Yeah, and I'll let you go, and then I'll need to finish off. I was meant to finish at 3. It's nearly R3. Jesus.
Yeah, thanks for staying on.
The issue that we have with what we've seen from Potter, right, and from when we signed him to now, was that we had no expectations, right? We looked at him and we thought, right, he's a manager that's not got a CV. He's done quite well with Brighton. He's had a bit of a background, this, that, and the other. Right, fine. He's now got himself to a point now, and this is why I say I judge him on the pitch, because I watched him how he, manages the team and man management and this, that, and the other. It's now got to the point now where you actually have to look at it from an overall, and you actually have to maybe look at it like this. I think when you look at Graham Potter, I think he's a good manager. I think there's a manager in him. I think there is. All right. The issue I have with it all is that once you take that big step from any Premier League team prior to the top 6 and into then the top 6, as you do, yeah, the expectations of that club completely changed onto the manager. And then what then happens moving forward is that manager then has to, show things that we've not maybe designed to have seen because of the clubs that they've come from. This is Potter image, right? Yeah. So the issue we have now up to this point is that we've seen that he's been able to do things, and he's a class manager, and he can coach players. He can coach players that come from random teams across Europe into Brighton, right? And he coaches them well. They come in, they listen, they understand his style, and they just want to learn. But when you come to a team like Chelsea, it's more than just coaching. It's about dealing with egos, big egos, players that are of top class, world class natures, right? Young, top European players coming in, right? Egos,
I agree.
right? It's about managing them, yeah, getting the best out of that, and then implementing your style on what is a better quality team when you look at them on paper, but then also bringing the best out of them on the pitch. The issue he has is I think he's a coach. I don't think he's a world-class manager. And this is why I was waiting to see whether he has that degree in his bracket. Because when you look at Ten Hag, for example, and where he came from in terms of Ajax, the question marks on Ten Hag was when he comes to Man United, will he be able to adapt? Will he be able to get the best out of players? Will he be able to do A, B, C, and D and maybe make some, tight decisions in terms of setup and things like that? At the moment, they find themselves in third, and he's managed to, if you watch him in many ways, make some real big decisions on how he sets them up and how he puts them forward and this, that, and the other. And that, for me, then shows that next level. Because when I look at coaches and managers overall, it all goes in levels and brackets. And my problem is, I think when you look at someone like Ten Hag, who is we could say was at a top class level, he's now pushing himself forward to try and move forward into that world class bracket. I'm not saying he's that now, but he's showing that he has the answers to become that. When you look at Graham Potter, I see a good coach who can probably get the best out of a team. Don't get me wrong, and get them set up right and play well. A bunch of players that maybe don't have big egos, that are just on their way up, that have just come out. Yeah, I think he can do that. But by taking the big step of going from that team to a team like Chelsea, it's completely different kettle of fish, because Chelsea attract the best players across the world, and with that, you're going to have a lot more problems than you would do managing a team like Brighton. And you have to get the best, and there is a big expectation to win things, and these are all things that he's never done before, but he's not answering them questions. And that's why I think the issue with him at the moment is that he's not a shit manager. I just think that he's maybe a manager that can manage any other Prem team, barring maybe a top 6 team, because you have to have world-class credentialities to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's more than just, like you said, it's more than management.
As funny, and I agree with what Jem is saying. I think as funny as people may find, I think he just doesn't have the aura that a top manager has. He doesn't have the. I don't feel like the players respect him enough. That's just me. I just don't feel like the players respect him enough.
They never will.
One of the first things Ten Hag came out and said, right, after the results that Man United were having at the beginning, was the badge at Man United weighs heavy, and the badge at Chelsea weighs heavy as well. You could see what Ten Hag was doing. He saw, right, these guys are a mess. I need to go with what I believe will win me games. Graham Potter's doing the complete opposite of that. It's like, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you a chance.
Yeah,
Well, no,
yeah.
you kind of found a solution against Dortmund. Well, a semi-solution. Go with that. Why go back to the players that have been letting you down the whole time you've been here and let us down the past few seasons? It just makes no sense. So like I've said, it's self-sabotage. He needs to leave. He needs to get out because it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better, Jem. I'll tell you that for free. And this is someone that wanted it to work out with him because I thought he was a good coach before he came to Chelsea. He was tipped for the next England job, and maybe he can do a Spurs, and then from there we'll see what happens. But he's come here and he's disappointed me. That's what it is. I'm not angry. I'm more disappointed than anything. I'm angry today because of all the PR that's come out about him and all the defending and all the excuses. But other than that, I expected more from someone that had some level of coaching in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So it's just unacceptable, man. It's unacceptable.
Underwhelming. That's what it is. It's underwhelming.
He still can get the England job, yeah.
That goes back to what I said about breaking the brackets, mate. Remember I said to you about he's there, but does he have the credentialities to go to there with a top team? And that's where he's still stuck because we're not seeing it. We're not seeing any of it. So, and it's a lot more. I think you have to do at a bigger club in terms of management and other bits and bobs than you do at someone like Brighton when they're signing players for cheap fees and making and then selling them on for 60 million because they produce and they make them that. You're bringing in players of quality that are already produced and this. Do you know what I mean? It's a different.
I remember there was a.
It's like he was able to. The thing with Graham Potter was always before with Graham Potter is Graham Potter's such a good coach. Look at him working on this low budget. They're finding players from Ecuador. They're finding players from flipping Peru, Chile, all these areas that no one really scouts like that. He's finding all these players, squeezing everything out of them. Look at their ability when they're playing. Imagine Graham Potter with money behind him. Imagine Graham Potter at a bigger club. That's what everyone used to say. He's had the opportunity now and is letting himself down first of all, and he's letting our club down. And we're a big club. We are not Brighton to be accepting these ridiculous decisions he keeps making. I don't know what they've said to him behind closed doors because he seems to be too comfortable for my liking. Way too comfortable. Way too comfortable.
There was a player. Spot on. That's just.
I can't remember. I can't remember who the player was, but it was a player in like one of the top teams. He was mentioning about how there was like the manager they had got sacked, and like I think the new manager came in. I think it was Everton or something. And they were talking about how like when Ancelotti came in, like into like everyone like all the players were when the changing room speaking. Ancelotti came in, didn't say anything, but everyone just went silent as soon as he came in, and that's what I mean by, because people make the comparison with Potter and Ancelotti, and Ancelotti doesn't get angry either, but it's like there's an aura with Ancelotti. There's just a thing. You just knock it. This is a top manager. Like I need to respect it. Like, I can't.
Ancelotti in his younger days was pretty angry, but Jim, the points you made too are spot on. But not only just spot on for Potter. There's been many, like the probability of a manager doing that leap and other managers doing it is actually quite low. That's why there's not many world-class managers, right? And there's a lot more managers that have done more than Potter that made that leap and failed, right? It just by probability alone, it just doesn't happen, right? And it's a point that I made a long time ago because people had this hope. They seen at Arsenal because no one said the same thing about Lampard, right? They just saw it at Arsenal. It's a time to give a bandage thing. But we're asked, I still want to know how all the talking points we're saying now. What did they see? What did Bowley see that?
I think if you look at the data,
I wanted to add. There's one element that you guys are missing, which is Chelsea Global, which is I think maybe one of their main priorities. They want to build this network pretty quick, and someone just repeated it. Jem actually repeated it. That what the Potter and his team were getting young players move around and getting to play well. That's for the network, and I think that's why. I think that's the only thing he saw. I think trophies and stuff aren't important as now. I think the network and making an industry of players, right, is is actually what Bowley and that actually
I think we have to be a bit fair. Like if you look at Potter Brighton,
going too hard
everybody
on the
thought
owners.
Potter was the next new shit.
I think you're
Everybody
going a
thought
little
he was the
too
next
hard on
new
the
shit,
owners.
and he's not.
yeah.
Bro, if you wanted a manager that builds stuff, he gets it. If you wanted a world class manager, he would have got it. But he saw something that he wanted to build in Chelsea Global, and I think that's what actually he went for.
But I think also if you look at Potter as a manager,
we had would have signed Potter. Any owner we had who would have signed Potter because of the fact that
I don't know about
whole
that.
English media put Potter up
Abramovich
for the
would not
next
sign
big
Potter.
job.
That's not his.
No, that's true. They did hype him up.
We
But
signed
I mean,
Lampard. What do you mean? If we had Lampard,
Well, we had to do. There was a transfer ban.
Lampard
That was the best option
No
at
one.
the time. With
No
that
one wanted
transfer
to
ban,
come.
with that transfer ban, Frank Lampard was the best man for the job because he
Yeah.
understood the players and he just came from Derby with Mason Mount and Tomori. So of course it made sense for him to get
And
the
he's
job.
a
But
Chelsea
he got
legend.
and he got top
Spurs
four.
would have
And he got
signed
top
Potter.
four. He got sacked
Lampard
after
was
that.
United
Hold on. Put it this way: if Abramovich would have hired Potter, he would be sacked by now. So it's like let's stop having
Exactly. That's the key point.
real.
That's the
Let's
key
just
point.
be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, but
Abramovich
Abramovich wouldn't hire
he would be
Potter.
sacked right now.
No, I mean,
Yeah, but guys, this is what
we're
we're trying to get away from that though, because we've been chopping and changing and we still haven't won the league since 2017, right? Potter, it's the same predicament now. But what I'm saying is Potter is not the guy for the long-term project because he's not showing us anything in the short term. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
This is my problem with this argument. This is my problem with this argument.
That's what I've been trying to say, though.
Like,
Hold
this is my
on.
problem with
Let
this
me give our
argument
only solution. This is our only solution for
we
the
need
rest
to
of
hurry
the
up because I need to shoot as well, man.
Okay, can I?
Yeah, this is it, John.
I just want to make one more point. So this is my problem with this with that comment about the chopping and changing of managers, right? So Potter at Brighton, there's actually good reasons to have Potter as a manager. And at Brighton, they underperformed. So in terms of the stats, they were actually playing. They were playing a lot better than their position was on the table. So there's a reason. But the key point is, if you're a club, you have your standards and your criteria that you have as a club. Whatever manager that comes in, it doesn't matter who they are. If they don't meet the standards, then you sack them. So when people talk about the chopping and changing of managers, like it wasn't like I think in probably Chelsea's like 20-year history on Abramovich, like there was only probably 2 managers that shouldn't have been sacked, which was Ancelotti and Mourinho the first time. Other than that, every other manager, the issue has just been simple. There was a standard, you didn't meet the standard, and you got sacked. Simple as that. So, all the comments about, Potter coming in, and that's irrelevant. The point is just that he's here, he hasn't met the standard, and he needs to go. Simple as that.
Bez, Callie, have you got anything you want to say? I've got to go, guys. So,
that's fair. I see people keep asking these same 2 questions, and it's something I do want to highlight because it's also in the chat. A person essentially said, Mans is going after the owners because they're American. They took a gamble on what they saw and his potential at being an excellent manager, and that gamble isn't paying off. The owners made a mistake. It's as simple as that. I don't know why we need to go all over the world, make all these hypotheticals with Arsenal and shit. Look, it's very simple. The owners made a mistake with the manager they put in. They didn't have a technical team. They didn't have a director of football. They put the manager in before they put the squad, the team, the board, everything. That's a mistake. We all can agree on that. Moving forward, they cannot sack him. They cannot sack him. People are saying, do I want him sacked? Absolutely. What is wrong with you? But we cannot sack him financially. That's 60 M's. And we don't know what's going on FFP-wise. So let me tell you, if we're going to have to keep him to the end of the season, Declare, which is unfortunately the fucking position we find ourselves in, he has to get 9 points. People think I'm bantering. He needs to make sure we don't get fucking relegated.
Exactly.
After he makes sure we don't get relegated, then he needs to show how far he can even push the team. If he can't even get past 8th, I'm telling you, he's getting sacked regardless, in my eyes. But they're going to have to wait till next season. There's no way he's getting sacked this season. It's just
can I give you a scenario? Yeah?
Financially, you might be right.
Hold on. Financially, right? If 60 mil, right, is what's kind of the difference on financial fair play, right? If the transfer budget next season is 100 or 200 mil, right? I would prefer take the 60 mil out of that, right? Whatever you planned on spending, and we get less players in, right? And get Potter out. Because a new manager is going to be worth, 10 players,
And sell Mount and
or the
Gallagher
whole
as
team,
well.
30 players, 50 players, right? That's the scenario in. If that is the situation that we are in, right? You just spent 600 mil casually, right? You're on course to spend $1 billion. I'm sure 60 mil is pocket change, right? If you made a mistake, right, then it should be easy to sack him. Now,
Exactly.
if its ego is the reason he stays, right, then you're making an even bigger mistake, and maybe Bowley is the problem, right? That's what. So that's why. That's why I kept going down
but
the line.
listen,
But
that's
no,
this is
I've
my
already
point.
said
I
the longer
agree.
that we continue taking L's and D's and getting no W's, the more
Yeah.
pressure that the owners, the fans are going to start looking at the owners, and then it's going to build against. And that's the issue that
Jim,
but I do think
that's when I think. Yeah.
I do think that they're going to eventually. It can't go on like this. I'm telling you now.
And you're
Right.
killing the players as well. You're killing their
You also have
confidence.
some W's in between that. So I think they will listen to the fans eventually if this continues. Like, I know it's as worse as it is now, but I think Tottenham, all the way up to Dortmund, these 3 games, he has to get 2 wins, in my opinion, at least.
If we don't, then he's out the door.
If he loses against Spurs, things get toxic.
He needs to start winning something.
Jim, that's why I was going to agree. When the focus goes on him, because
Yeah.
now it's kind of easy that it's on Potter, but when the fans start screaming his name and all the talks about him now, right, as well, I think that's when he will feel more pressure to act and do something. But like you said, those 3 games is probably where they're giving it to him, or they're probably just looking for a manager already.
No, listen, you can't put it past our owners. Our owners are ruthless from what I've seen in terms of signing. So let's see.
I know.
Let's see what happens, guys. I have got to shoot. Remember what I said to you guys. Unfortunately, this is going to be my last show for 2 weeks because I'm going away.
Party.
Well, I might. I'm going to. Well, we'll see.
No, go have a break.
No, Jim.
Go have a break.
No.
No, I'm going to be missing.
Don't ruin your holidays watching Chelsea.
Jam, there's no reason. There's zero reason.
The periods that I'm going to be missing is Tottenham, Leeds, and Dortmund. So it might be when I come back. I'm back the day after the Dortmund game, so I'll be doing a reaction to that. But it might be a case that I do a reaction.
You'll have a new manager,
No manager. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Hopefully.
By the way,
Hopefully.
Tottenham have no Conte by the sideline. Leeds are gonna have a new manager by then. It's peak. So Jem, you better find a room somewhere,
I
buddy.
think I need a break anyway. But do you know what?
You can do something, bro.
I've got a sports bar there. I'll be talking to you guys and stuff in the group and that. But fucking, I'll be watching it. Probably getting upset.
So, Jim, you know what your reaction video should be? Hey, what happened? That's what your reaction should be, right? You should not watch anything.
Big up to everyone in the chat that's obviously wishing me well and everything. I hate not being able to be here, especially through these busy periods. But maybe we'll see. I might be able to get someone to do the shows for me. I'll set the show up and someone can like do the show still until I get back. Maybe we'll see. But big up to yourselves. Go and follow. Lewis is live now, so go and click that link. Go and raid his channel. Let's go over there and raid it. The GNA viewers, if you stay here, you'll just get transferred straight over to Lewis. But the Chelsea Fan TV guys, click the link. Yeah, and go over to Lewis. Smash the likes, as always. Subscribe before you leave as well. And listen, next time you see my face, I might be brown and have long hair probably at that point. But, you know, it might be on the case that we've actually got a couple of W's and we've got a smile back. We can actually do a show where we can actually...
Island boy.
Jem's going to come back looking like Jesus. Save us, please.
See you later, guys.
After the holiday.
Be safe. Be safe. Up the Chelsea. And let's do it.
Yo, Jem, be safe, man.